situations. Listener discretion is advised.
Episode 151, June 24th. The twisted mind behind Predator Meets Archie and Grindhouse Drive-In Bleed Out returns to Trick or Treat Radio to drop science on the ways of horror comic book making. Alex DeCampi, 151, and welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 149 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture. Or, in this case, maybe poop culture. It's navigated by the Deadites. The Deadites are the world's greatest electroshock band. We destroy monsters. We drink booze. We win championship belts. And we also beg for money.
And put the cart before the horse. I mean, we're 149.
Yeah.
I think that
What
episode,
about 150?
Yeah. We haven't even got to the milestone, extra size, giant size Man-Thing edition. You're looking at 152?
151, he said.
Whoa.
Now you're jumping ahead.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I'm not sure what number. If we count zero,
Oh, Count Zero, the band the Deadites used to play
they were
with.
fucking good.
Yeah, they
Remember
are
that?
good.
Remember Will?
Yeah,
He was a good guy.
Yep.
he's not anymore.
I haven't talked to him in like a decade, but I'm sure he's still a good fella.
He must have liked you.
Yeah.
He did like me.
Well, usually people that like me, they usually go 10 to 12 years without talking to me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's called him, but Will hasn't called him back.
Yeah, I'm like, Will, pick up.
Pick up.
Pick up. I really enjoyed your record. That's exciting.
I hate everyone here that's not a barbarian professional wrestler.
Why?
Yeah, cuz.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, we're never on the same page.
We would never, ever.
You guys are going to be on the obituary together. That's the same page you're going to be on.
Yeah.
I was hoping.
That was a weird plane crash.
Early.
We've never been more in sync, like your buddy Justin, than now.
No, leave my buddy Justin out of this. I like that dude. Listen,
Fuck.
You're going to be surprised.
I'm gonna fucking punch like Charlie horses are gonna. If anybody tells me that they like this movie that I can reach, I'm gonna fucking punch him right in between the armpit.
exciting.
The armpit?
What?
When you get punched in the armpit, you'll see what happens.
All right.
It's exciting.
This is exciting. All right, so tonight, let me quickly get to what we're going to do. We have some stuff I want to talk about the future. Dynamo got a little bit into it there, but we have one episode coming up before 151 that I want to talk about. But right now, on tonight's show, we're doing the Creature Double Feature film review. So we're going to review two flicks. First up, we're going to review
Right into the mic, sorry.
the Human Centipede III, the final sequence. These guys are really excited to talk about it.
You goddamn motherfucker.
And then we're going to talk about Ex Machina, which is in theaters currently and will be hitting VOD very shortly. I just noticed earlier today. So there you go. Those are the two films we're going to review. Those are our two segments. We got some feedback to get to later on. And also, I want to start talking about what's coming up next week. But first of all, let me introduce everyone, because we do have a guest on the line. I don't want him to remain voiceless. I want to give him the proper introduction that he deserves. But before that, let me get to everyone else. Make him wait a little longer. I am Johnny Wolfenstein, the pencil pusher and producer of media for Trick or Treat Radio and the Deadites. We also have the surly immortal gunslinger, singer, and lyricist.
Surly?
You are surly right now.
No, I said I didn't want to do something, and you did it anyway. That is more than I generally, there's, I don't know, there's at least the promise of a blowjob in the future when I have to deal with that at home. But here,
What?
there's no good.
And stop calling me surly.
We have Dynamo Mars.
Fuck off.
See? I was right. Some
Boy,
foreshadowing
he
there.
is in a surly mood
I
tonight.
know.
It's going to be great.
We also have the chain-smoking, hand-kissing, baby-shaking, hot pocket loving, comic book reading nerd, and the official smoke machine for the Deadites, Michael Ravenshadow.
Bumbaloo, Johnny.
That's it?
Oh, my lord. And I can't fucking wait to
What?
fucking get into the shit tonight.
The shit?
Yeah.
Literally?
I want to dive
Did you have to
into it.
run behind the short bus when you were a kid?
No,
They
I
didn't even let you on.
I was dropped off. I could walk. I was in walking distance. No, I think there's so much fucking bile.
So much
Much
content.
fucking content. So much fucking tension, hate, and bile and bile. I just want
What
to
are you-
fucking get into it.
Jesus Christ, what
I'm
are you
fucking
talking
full,
about?
I'm a fucking razor blade slitting through a wrist to hate.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We also have the vulgar guru of horror, cast member of Morbid Vision Films and one-time contributor for Horror Hound magazine, MonsterZero.
Yeah, I'm back. I was gone last week,
Yeah.
but now I've returned.
We missed you, buddy. We really did.
Yeah, well, it was a
We spoke
a
about it, so
personal
it's not a
situation.
secret.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Oh, you did?
We just said something. We said something. Personal situation. Papa Zero wasn't doing so hot.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Thanks for
So,
listening.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
hey.
Do some research before you showed up.
Hey! I had to take care of some things. Okay.
All right. You get it. You get a pass for this one.
Thank you. But everything is on the up and up. Everything's better now, and hopefully it maintains that. Let's hope.
Yes. Let's hope so. You better do a lot of lifting for Papa Zero. He shouldn't be doing any lifting.
Yeah.
So we
But
also.
but 1 ounce
Oh, go
under
ahead.
10, 1
Jesus.
ounce 1 ounce under 10 pounds, and he's lifting it himself.
9.9 ounces.
Yep.
You're gonna weigh it.
Get your own fucking remote control.
All right. We also have the host, the producer, the kingpin of the Talk Without Rhythm podcast, our good buddy, El Goro.
My leadership boards are atom bombs, 100 megatons each.
Bravo. Pretty good.
I fucking. Oh,
How's it going, guys?
I think a few more hairs just spread out on my chest just listening to that.
And he's got like 2, so he needs all the help he can get.
See, you can't see me, but pretty much any time I'm not talking, I'm going to be flicking my tongue out at you seductively this entire time. Because, the film that we are going to be talking about on this show, man, it put me in a mood.
The same mood that it put Dynamo in.
We will see.
this is exciting.
This is exciting.
Let's keep it coy for now. You'll tease it out a little bit before we go anus
keep it
deep into
Vance.
this Human Centipede 3.
What if we kept it Vance instead?
We
you
haven't.
go.
It's been over a year since we reviewed Dear God No. You guys know how fucking talked about that episode was.
Yeah.
Play the sounder.
Let's go to sample.
Oh, I had this volume down. Damn it.
Fuck.
El Goro even queued me up for that
We
one
need
too.
a producer or something.
Dear God, now! There it is.
There it is. All right. So, those are the 2 flicks we're going to review. We got our buddy El Goro in tow, and we're going to tackle these with authority. But before we do that, I want to talk about next week. Next week is, it's kind of a milestone. We got episode 150 coming up. That's not if you count episode 0, the Halloween shows and
New Year's Evil.
New Year's Evil. But, still, episode 150 coming up next week. We do have a guest scheduled. Anyone want to take a guess?
Gilbert Gottfried.
Nope. It's a returning guest. We haven't had him on in a while. And
As host.
guest host, I should say. Yes, guest host.
Guest host.
He.
Tiny White.
Hey, you might be right. I don't know. We're going to try and track him down for next week.
Good
Aries
But,
God of War.
but we do have next week our good buddy and producer of Jodorowsky's Dune, Steven Scarlatta, will be joining us.
Oh, Snoop.
Very nice.
And,
oh, shit. It's my wife and Shadow's birthday next week, but guess where I'm going to be at?
At the birthday party?
Nah, fuck that.
As an aside, I'm not going to be here next week.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
It's very down. You're like an emo kid today, Dynamo.
Yeah.
What's up?
Haven't you heard the records? I was emo before they invented emo.
You were emo Phillips.
Emo Phillips.
Slow-mo.
Thank you, homeboy.
Elmo Phillips.
So before we get going here, El Goro, why don't you tell folks where they can find Talk Without Rhythm?
All right. right. Well, we got the main website, which is tworpodcast.blogspot.com. And I'm also a member of the Drunken Zombie Podcasting Network, which can be found at drunkenzombie.com.
There you go. Everyone go check out El Goro and the Talk Without Rhythm podcast. And let me just say, you son of a bitch, I listened to your Plague Dogs review.
Oh, God, man.
It fucking tore my heart out all over again. Just listen to you talk about it. I was like, motherfucker, you gonna make me cry all over again?
Dude, I held through when I was watching the movie, but there was something about talking about the ending of that film.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting all alone in my house. I'm talking just into a microphone, and my dog has her head like right on my leg. And I'm petting her wallet, and I seriously started cracking up, or, you know, almost about to cry when I was talking. It's like, all right, man, I got to make a joke real fast because I'm going to be bawling like a little bitch.
Yeah. It did really bring back, you know, some thoughts about that film, because Josh Gravel made us watch that film. It was his pick. And,
Oh, yeah, I listened to your episode.
Yeah, and it was it's a tough flick, man. It's a fucking great movie. Don't get me wrong, but it's a tough watch. Like, that's one I don't know that I can ever watch again, because, you know, I now I know what's going to happen. I think that's even worse, knowing in that film, you know, and that ending, Jesus Christ.
And it's the thing, it's something I struggled with, because I did admire the film on so many levels, but I don't know if I could ever, in good faith, recommend anybody watch it.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly. Oh, it's rough, man.
hey, why don't you watch this movie? You'll feel absolutely terrible afterwards.
Yeah. You'll probably want to slit your wrists, but hey, you should watch it.
Yeah, why not?
Treat.
A treat. It is a treat. So everyone go check out El Goro's show, Talk Without Rhythm podcast. Last month in May, you did all animation. You called it animation. You guys get it, huh?
Yeah, because I'm fucking lame.
You get it, Raven Shadow?
Oh.
You don't like cartoons, though.
No, I'm a grown-ass man, so.
I've
Fuck
legitimately
you, sir.
tried
I
to
love cartoons, man. I'm gonna be 44
Hell yeah.
this month, and I love cartoons.
I
know you do.
legitimately have been listening to your raid episode over and over again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's where I am.
Just like you watch the raid over and over.
Yeah, it's my companion. It's piece. Once, and I'm not even kidding, I turned the volume down and listened to you guys talk about it and watch the raid too.
Really?
Yep.
That's something, brother. So, anytime anybody says they listen to my show, my immediate response is, why?
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of our whole thing. Why the fuck is anyone listening to this?
If there are no other options on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you pull up to a car next to you and they're listening to it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason you should listen.
I miss Tiny. Tiny would have fucking just come in with fucking spin kicks this week.
Yeah, it would have.
You should have arranged that. Getting Tiny on the horn.
You think he talks to me?
Oh, yeah, I guess not. All right, so that's what's going on. So next week for episode 150, we're going to be joined by our buddy Steven Scarlatta, and we're going to review two flicks. Up first, we're going to review, well, I assume it's up first. I don't know what order. We're going to review the newly released to YouTube Kung Fury.
Oh, Snoop.
Have you had a chance to check that out yet, Ian?
Yeah, I did. Actually, a buddy of mine arranged a screening of it in downtown Cleveland at a brewery.
Wow.
And the best possible way to watch that movie, in my opinion, is with about 200 people laughing their ass off, drunk as hell.
Well, maybe we'll have to...
If you can arrange something
yeah.
like that, it is an awesome experience.
Maybe
And
at the
it
Sam
plays-
Adams Brewery or something around here, you know?
Yeah,
We'll just give Raven Shadow enough beer for 200 people.
there you
Come
go.
on over. I got a bar at my house.
That'll last them about 5 hours.
Yeah. How
I
long's the
couldn't
movie?
drink at your bar though, because you have two awesome posters and a douchebag Pulp Fiction poster.
You can't come in.
Actually, last time I was there, we filmed it, and I said I'm not coming back. So you told me there were gonna be girls there.
Yeah.
I just want to throw it out there, man. Congratulations on hitting 150 episodes,
Whoa.
man. That's a hell of a fucking accomplishment.
Whoa.
Slow it down.
We're not
Goro.
there
Not
yet.
there yet.
Hey,
A lot could happen
Come
between
on,
now
you're
and
gonna
next
do
week.
it.
Yeah, the world could explode tomorrow for all we know.
No, we're going to review Human Centipede 3. We might not make it to next week.
My buddy,
man, we're done. Fuck it.
my buddy,
I don't want to fucking do it no more.
my buddy Standard showed me what those dumbbells were really for.
So yes, next week we're going to review Kung Fury, and also our boy Steven Scarlatta picked a film specifically for us to review. We're going to review from 1995.
Secret. Let's make it be a secret.
Okay.
Yeah.
Secret.
It's a film. It's a film from 1995. That's all we'll tell you.
He really is into the like last dying breath of the horror genre before it went totally.
Oh, because he was brain scanned too, right?
right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
His oldest
fucking
contribution
Neon
was
Maniacs.
But
that was the
90s. That was
That was
86 though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, like that. Those are his two picks: Brain Scan.
Didn't he
and,
also? Oh no,
Neon Maniacs.
Oh okay. I thought he picked out Shakma too.
No, we almost had him on for that, but we weren't able to work it out. So
maybe that's what I'm thinking.
yeah. So that's
That was
coming up.
another happy episode for me.
Yeah. It would have been helpful if we had him on.
Yeah. So next week is gonna be a blast. We're gonna review Kung Fury and a mystery flick from 1995, and we're gonna be joined by Steven Scarlatta. Here's what I want you to do, folks. We would love to hear from you. In the past, on our like big milestone episodes, we've gotten a ton of feedback, and I would love to get some more feedback. Send us your voicemails. Send us your emails. Send us your tweets.
Send a video.
Hell
Send
yeah!
for the people in the live stream to.
Hell
enjoy
yeah!
it.
We can put that shit right on there.
Ooh.
We got the software to do it.
Because of.
Well, we'll get there in a second. I don't want to
Get
jump ahead.
excited.
But I would love if you guys would, write in, send a video, send audio. You can use SpeakPipe right on our website. We have a bunch of different ways. I'll lay it all out on the fib this week. But I want to hear from you. Let us know your favorite moments, your favorite films we reviewed, anything, or even just tell us we suck. If you think so, tell us. We want to know that.
You
shit.
suck.
Thank you. I appreciate your feedback, Dynamo.
Thank you.
Best fight.
You're not gonna appreciate my fucking dumbbells crashing on your head, breaking your fucking robot arm. Fucking jerks.
So we would love to have a huge turnout for feedback next week. We're going to leave a lot of time aside for it. So please do, if you have a smartphone, most of you folks out there do, just record a voice memo and send it to podcast@trickortreatradio.com. You can go on our website. You can leave email or voicemail right from our site. Just hit the contact button and you get both options. You can also, if you want, just tweet at us at the Deadites, or just email podcast@trickortreatradio.com. We would love to hear from you. Let Raven Shadow know he's awesome or he sucks. Whatever you think.
I prefer the former.
I prefer the honest one.
No,
So, and let us know who your favorite guests are. Like, do you love having El Goro on? Let's, maybe we'll try to get El Goro on more often. We love having El Goro on.
Yeah, we
so-
fucking do. I mean, the
Man,
fucking
I
dude's
love
on the
being
fucking
on.
line.
You do suck. I'm gonna fucking Michael Clark Duncan you.
Jesus Christ.
What's that
Like,
mean?
you're gonna die on him?
It's true.
What the fuck, dude? That's fucking too soon, man. He was in Green Mile. Why don't you fucking-
So, and the man's been dead for like 3 years.
That's Kingpin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about who else has been dead for 3 years? Chief J Strongbow. You idiot. You fucking dummy.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, what was that about?
Hey,
JFK posts.
That's
Hey.
because of him.
Hey, you can all shut the fuck up right now.
Why we're confused?
Because he's like, it's like, oh, sad day at wrestling. Chief J Strongbow died
I didn't
in
say that.
2010.
I didn't say that. I just posted it. He is the one who said it's a sad day for wrestling.
I did.
Yeah, he did, because he would have thought that you would have noticed to not post an obituary from
Okay.
5
All
years
right.
ago.
As long as Owen Hart's okay, I'm all right.
Yeah. I hate you. Yeah, like, so, we put some more relevant things up, like George Hackensmith's knee surgery.
King of the Jews dies on the cross.
Yeah.
But there was an unfortunate actual.
Yeah, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you ruin it.
Yeah.
And Dynamo, you want to take a second?
Sure.
Yeah.
My favorite wrestler ever, Tommy Rogers, passed away. Everyone knows how fond I am. A lot of people call it the indie style or the Japanese style, but I call it the Ring of Honor style, because I feel like when Ring of Honor hit its stride and had the right roster to make it happen, they really changed the wrestling industry in the same way that ECW did, but I feel like they changed it in a very positive way. If you don't believe me, look at a lot of the guys that are on the main roster now in NXT. And over a 10-year span, Ring of Honor definitely made, and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, but, I feel like Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, which as much as I loved it, modified what Ring of Honor did. Like, kind of, it's easy to make the next iteration of something awesome. It's hard to go out there in a time when, like, televisions were saying, like, television producers were saying, if you put a rest hold on, we're going to change it. Ring of Honor, made scientific wrestling come back and high-flying wrestling. In that innovative Japanese hybrid style was definitely pioneered in the United States by a team called the Fantastic, and their feud with the Midnight Express. If you ask a lot of great wrestling teams right now, they're going to tell you that feud is what got them into wrestling, because it was like nothing any of us had ever seen before. You got to think, this is before tape trading and everything else. And the kind of captain of that team, the one who I think he was a little more fundamentally sound. He was a better in-ring storyteller. And no shout on Bobby Fulton, but for me, there was none better than Tommy Rogers. Maybe the most underrated selling babyface ever. I put him right up there with Ricky Morton and Ricky Steamboat for being able to tell a story and get the crowd's empathy going. And he unfortunately died in his home in, I believe, Honolulu, Hawaii, on Monday or Tuesday.
Mahalo.
Yeah. Is that the Big
how
Island?
old was he?
He wasn't too old.
No,
he was
54.
52.
Yeah.
54.
Which is really throwing me, because he's only about a year older than my stepdad, and it's just like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's. I mean, he worked hard, and he had to because he was so small. After a lot of his peers didn't have to do anything anymore, like Bobby Fulton went to the Southern Independence and was making really big paydays, and did some Smoky Mountain stuff and everything else. Tommy Rogers was an opening match guy in ECW. So like he like his body was like really, really broken down, and this was also before like it existed, but yoga, was something in dance that a lot of pro wrestlers did now. Because if you look at Rob Van Dam, that guy went through his career without a ton of injuries, and he was one of the most, like, he took chances right up there with Rey Mysterio and all those other guys. And then DDP, made a form of yoga, which made guys like, Chris Jericho are still working at a tremendous level because of DDP yoga. Guys like, I'll always call him Claudio Castagnoli, but Cesaro are like really, in tune with their body and like really great at keeping themselves flexible and upset. Tommy Rogers was doing all the shit that those guys were, but it was almost in the same way, like, a kid that didn't know how to wrestle. It's just like, oh, well, I'm going to jump off the top rope to the floor, and I'm just doing it. I don't know a way to protect myself. Like, I just had a crazy idea mid-match, it wasn't even like a called spot. Like, I just hope that Dennis catches me. So it was just like, great. And they are a tremendous tag team. Bill Apter interviewed Bobby Fulton, and Fulton gave a very heartfelt eulogy and brought down the history. So if you look up Bill Apter, Bobby Fulton, that interview's on YouTube now. But I miss it. I used to, me and another little blonde kid who remained nameless, used to play the Fantastics when we were little kids, because one of us had brown hair and one of us had blonde hair. So I got to be Tommy Rogers. So it was it's very, very sad. I don't even know if that blonde kid knows, because I don't even see him on the internet anymore.
Yeah.
It was really sad. I was really upset about it. It hit me in a visceral place, because it's like bands, you know what I mean? Like the Monkees are always going to be my first favorite band ever, because it's the first band I really loved. But then you find new things and art changes. But Tommy Rogers always seemed relevant, because all I had to do is go watch a tape of him single or him in the Fantastics. I found a lot of great Portland stuff before the Fantastics, and he was having 4-star matches on the opening show on a Portland card against Buddy Rose and Brutus Beefcake, Ed Leslie. I think his name was something Hogan. He was doing a Hulk Hogan's brother gimmick. Having great matches. He was a protege of Jack Briscoe. So he wasn't too into the Chippendale gimmick that they got as the Fantastics, but they took it and became, the top babyface everywhere they went. It's unfortunate that they're kind of in the shadow of the Rock and Roll Express, because as talented as Ricky Morton is, I feel like on every level, the Fantastics were a fundamentally better team.
Yeah, definitely sad news. Fantastics are, I think you probably, they're definitely your favorite team, right, of all time, would you say?
Yes.
Yeah, and they definitely were sort of trailblazers in a way for tag team wrestling, and I don't think they get the credit that they probably deserve. So
They're like the Blur to Oasis, I would say.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So if I wanted to go check out some good Fantastic matches, I mean, what would I look up? Their Midnight Express stuff. I'm seeing here that they did a series of matches against the Sheep Herders.
And that's what I loved about them, Goro, because they were just as comfortable in that style of match, like this great aerial scientific match, as they were in bloody, what would later be known hardcore. They had a series of barbed wire matches with the Sheep Herders that were.
Oh, you see, you're saying that, and it's like, all right, I got to go check that out.
Right.
Yeah,
They're great. And like I heard it was a shoot that they got a finish that worked, that got 2 matches out of the barbed wire match per town. So like poor Tommy had to come off the top of this weird barbed wire cage every single night that was like just like it was just boards, like in like squares with A-frames holding it up with barbed wire running across it. And he like had to get up there and jump off it all the time. There's also a good one where I think Johnny Ace might have been, or Jack Victory might have been their the Sheep Herders partner, and Terry Taylor was involved in a lot of them. But as great as Terry Taylor was, like those guys just make him look like he's going in slow motion because they're great. But what I really recommend, my favorite Fantastics match ever, I think, is from the David Von Erich Memorial. I want to say 1986 at Texas Stadium. They fought the third iteration of the Midnight Express, which was Dennis Connery and Bobby Eaton, in a match where, because of a gimmick match they had later, they had 2 rings, and it was basically 2 individual matches for the United States title, tag team title, and they were fighting in each ring. That's a great one, and also their match at Clash of Champions 1 with the Midnight Express, where they, I guess they had this like really great match planned, and they just went out there and had like a fight all over the building bomb burner. So that was actually the match of the year that year of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. So those are some great matches there.
We got Patsy Rahal hanging out in the chat room, and he says,
What's up, Patsy?
He says that's surprising about the RVD thing, about not getting injured in the yoga, I imagine.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot. He had that really bad injury that kept him out for almost a year.
Yeah, was that when he had just won the TV title?
He had it for a while. He was dominant and had
that's
made
right.
it.
Yep.
And they were working. What their plan was a Mike Awesome Rob Van Dam program when he got back, but it didn't work out. So that's one of the things that killed Rob Van Dam. He was so over, but all they had to do, they turned Jerry Lynn heel, I think. Like they didn't have anything to do with him when he came back, except work with like Rhino, some of those guys. So
yeah,
it was definitely like it didn't help. It was like Hulk Hogan without any big boss mans or Kamalas or anybody, if he was just fighting Rusty Brooks every week. Not that Jerry Lynn is Rusty Brooks, but Jerry Lynn is a heel. It's kind of hard to swallow.
Patsy also says they shouldn't hurt sheep.
It's true. Sheep herders. Sorry. Sorry about that, New England.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Patsy.
All right.
One more real quick
yeah.
thing about that Van Dam thing. I'm thinking about it, and I could be wrong. I'm sure that some of us statistical people will know this, but I think in his 2 big runs, I think he had 1 ECW injury and 1 WWF injury. Now put that against like Rey Mysterio, who's had like 96 knee
surgeries. Yeah,
right, so. Well, God bless him, Steve Austin, who.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Who's seldom took his feet off the ground except to kick somebody in the belly. So.
So one thing I wanted to mention on air, so we don't forget. So I want people to hold us accountable because we dropped the ball on one of our prize packs. We never got our prize pack to Myra last time we had for the Amazon.
She just didn't want what I tried to give her.
Oh right, so we need to give a proper prize pack.
I wanted to
that's
just
what
give
it
her
was.
hugs and kisses, but
That's right. So she refused the hugs and kisses. We need to get her a proper prize pack. So what I want everyone to do, we have some stuff here in Castle Wolfenstein, but I want each one of you layabouts to get something for Myra's prize pack, and we're going to pack it on episode 150.
Oh, I got something right here.
No, so you can throw that in too, but something that is actually cool.
She wants that.
Do you realize that like her boyfriend is like half your age, I think? Like, I don't think he's allowed to hang out with her after street lights go on.
Yeah, but I can
So
rent. I
he's
can rent
10?
a car.
He's 10 years old?
Yeah. Is that why he wasn't at the club the other week?
Yeah. No, they were actually, weirdly enough, on a Wednesday playing in Worcester on the same night.
Where was she at?
Not to hang out with you. We have work to do.
I don't get mean. Don't get all fucking surly about stuff.
So everyone bring in something for the prize pack.
Yeah, bring in
okay?
something good. 'Cause
something
she's-
nice.
She is the best. She is the cat's pajamas. She is the bee's knees.
It's
and-
okay if it's something you have at home, but
Sure.
not something cool, something that you think she would actually like.
Yeah, like you can save the money things until our wedding.
She want a kid?
You guys gonna have a
You don't have a kid.
registry?
Your kids are like 40.
Yeah, well, they can, I need give them one. They can fucking mow the lawn.
That's a good point. Can I have a kid?
I got two. Goro.
What's up?
What, you need a kid?
You need it. I think
No.
You're going to back 40
point, no.
plowed?
What now? Sorry, you're breaking up on my end.
The back 40?
The back.
what the fuck is
I'm,
that?
I'm
What
not.
do you-
I'm not going to engage with children in their back 40, man. What the fuck is wrong with you?
the back 40.
Oh, wait, buckle up. Wait till the next segment.
Jesus. All right. So also a couple other things I wanted to mention. We're toying with the idea of doing some bonus content. Ooh. Dynamo and I have been having some conversations. Dynamo sent me a nice marketing plan, and we've been talking about some things.
Yeah, because I'm not as dumb as as Mike Ledger, I should say, says I am.
Hey.
Or you're actually doing the job that the other two guys aren't doing.
Yeah, I give up.
I shared a link.
Me do, I know what they're supposed to do, but
shared a link.
for the same reason I jack off at home, it's not going on. So
Yeah, Psycho praised me. Say they did a good job.
Yeah, like we praised Aries. You did a really good job posting that link, Raven Shadow.
oh my god, I wish Aries was here. That would have been good too.
Yeah.
He would have thrown an elbow at somebody.
So what we're toying with the idea, and El Goro's no stranger to this. You guys do some bonus content over on Drunken Zombie.
Yes, sir.
So we're toying with the idea because podcasting is expensive. We Tiny's killing all the monsters because he's not here. He's killing all the monsters. There's no more monsters to hunt. Therefore, there's no more money to be made. If the Deadites aren't bringing in money, we're paying out of pocket for the podcast, which is what's happening. So, we have a room dedicated to the studio. So there's a lot of things that we need. We built a podcast studio here, paying for the internet, paying for the web hosting, paying for the podcast hosting. For those folks that use SpeakPipe, you'll notice that the SpeakPipe app only takes 90-second voice messages now instead of 3 minutes because we couldn't afford to pay for that. So
Talk quick.
yeah,
I
exactly.
really enjoy your show. Thanks a lot.
That's why Josh had to send us 4 different voicemails this week because he couldn't fit it all in.
You got to be the next John Machina in order to say what you want to say.
Micro machine.
The micro machine guy.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, remind me that there's something about fast voicemails I want to talk about on the other end of this.
All right. So we are toying with the idea of doing some bonus content. And if we do bonus content, what we're going to do is we're going to charge for it. So we may go the route of what the guys at Film for Thought and other podcasts do and throw it up on a Bandcamp site and charge 99 cents per episode. We might do something like that. We also may do a subscription-based model where you pay X amount and then you get access to all the content. And the cool thing is, Dynamo, we've been talking back and forth about putting some old content up on there.
Yeah.
Meaning Deadites radio interviews from 1996 and some other stuff like that. So there could be a real cool opportunity to have some old and some new stuff up on there. So do you have anything to add to that, Dynamo?
No, other than the fact that without really hearing that interview,
Yeah.
like the band of 2015 was being built because the show in question
Yeah.
where they talk about Too Far Gone was Antichrist band.
Yep.
And then Colorblind, who we hijacked the radio show, I think it was supposed to be their interview, and we just showed up.
It was, and they
Yeah.
barely got to talk.
Yeah, features Curvin, who is in the studio Deadites. So it's pretty cool to go back and see we literally just picked and choose our favorite parts of other bands.
Yeah, and there is a live show. It was the 91.3 WCUW live concert series. So Ian, who was the DJ back then at the time, showed up at one of our shows, recorded us, and he has the whole thing that gets played on there. So you can hear,
including a false start of a song that false started 4 times.
it's amazing. I listened to it and I was fucking cracking up. It was like fucking Spinal Tap.
It's not amazing.
I thought about editing it out, but I'm like,
Over
nah, I
the
gotta
years,
keep that.
I've got not mad at Tiny because of
Yeah.
stuff like that, but going back to that time and remembering how mad I got,
Yeah.
El Goro, there's definitely a part where you hear me turn around and look at the other two and say, I'm going to sing what you know about it is what you know. What you don't know about is what you know for sure. And you fucking guys are going to play. And I'm not going to turn around again. Because I would start singing and it would stop. And then one time the drum loop played fast. It's just a fucking calamity.
It was a fucking nightmare. It was kind
And
of
I only
awesome.
listen to one song. So I'm like... So who
That
knows
sounds
what
incredible. I have to hear this.
I suspect this is the show that the girl who was supposed to sing for us quit before then, so I had to sing like all the girl parts, and it was a disaster. Like, it's just not good.
Which girl was that at the time? Do you know? First initial?
I think the lead singer of Colorblind banged her right out of our band.
Oh, okay. I know who you mean. All right.
As Tiny White said, she can't have her ass in one band and her voice in another.
I know exactly who you mean.
Yeah. And that was all one fucking house. So, like, I would show up there, and there'd be Aries banging that maniac he was going out with at the time, and then Curvin and that girl be upstairs. I would never make it upstairs to Tiny White's house because it would sound like a house of horrors going on there.
A house of whores?
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
So if you folks are interested in hearing some of this stuff and you would be willing to pay, whether it's a la carte style, pay 99 cents for an episode for a special episode, or if you want to do a subscription based thing, let us know if that's something you'd be interested in doing. Because, if
We don't know what the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So odds are we'll probably do both because we're kind of all about leaving the options open for who wants to do whatever they want. But, if you guys think one is a really good idea, maybe we'll just do the one.
Yeah, so let us know. We'd be definitely interested in hearing what you guys have to say about that, whether it's through email, through Twitter, at the Deadites. Go ahead and tweet at us. That's super easy. Or maybe we'll post up a discussion on the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group to get some opinions, because I really am curious to see if people want that. If people don't want it, then maybe we'll reevaluate.
Yeah,
what
and forget about the studio and everything else. Me and MonsterZero are wearing large T-shirts, and we shouldn't. We should really be able to afford to upgrade to extra larges. So, I can't even feel my arms by the end of the day usually.
Now, you guys aren't considering it all going premium only, right? This is only going to be bonus content.
Oh no, Trick or Treat Radio
Correct.
will be free.
Yep.
There it is.
Every single week here on trickortreatradio.com, Stitcher, iTunes, or wherever you get your digital content from.
Yeah, exactly.
go.
It's
So if you want something extra, cough up some money, you cheap bastards.
If you want it to exist at all, cheap up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not saying that without the support the show's going to go away. We're
Right.
not at that point yet, but
No.
it would be nice. The podcast hosting is coming up this month, and we would like to sort of upgrade our hosting, and,
Right.
and there's a lot of cool things that I want to try to add.
Sure.
But it's just not really feasible right now.
All
so.
jokes aside, all money is going to go into the machine again, too.
yeah.
Like, we have what other podcasts don't have, is that theoretically anyway, we have music and, other endeavors to line our pockets. Like, we just want the, machine to go and then be able to use the money that we make playing shows or selling CDs to pay for doing shows and doing CDs and stuff like
Yep.
that. So, and we've been really good at not crossing the streams, if you will, but, it's getting to the point where we might have to hit the road just to pay for the show.
Yeah, so let us know. We definitely are curious to see what you have to think about that.
And I hate touring, so nobody wants a fucking cranky dynamo. Like,
And also, this is just just a silly little thing, but I did create, I know Joe has been urging us to, and I know you're on there, Dynamo, but I created a letterboxed account for the Deadites.
nice.
So we're now on there. So you can either do a search for the Deadites or Trick or Treat Radio. Either way, it'll come up. And I've only started to add add some stuff to there. So there's only a couple of movies that are on there right now. But if you
Yeah.
want to connect up with us on
That's
Letterboxd,
exciting. I'll be your friend on Letterboxd. You and Joe.
exactly.
Joe
All right,
just gives me shit on there. Like
I know.
he has like 150. It's like a different way. He might text me and give me shit. He might give me shit on Letterboxd. Like,
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was gonna say. So those guys just had a milestone show, episode 25. No, episode 200.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
I listened to it. It was
yeah.
a really good episode.
But I was so riled up, about some of the stuff that they
know.
had said to me,
Yeah.
that I had to record the voicemail 4 times because
I
it was
know.
coming out to be 15 minutes, like 13 minutes. That's how like I basically did a 7-minute review of 3 films. It was tough. Like I won't tell you how I finally got through it, but I had to go through, I won't say nefarious means, but I had to do something that is like kind of the anti-meat. Well, I'll say I actually had to write down like pretty much like not even just, I tried PowerPoints, I tried everything, and I literally had to write down the review and keep trying it until by the time I sent it. So, and they make fun of me for talking so fast. So,
But it's funny, Tom, I thought Tom was going to be a little offended by what we had to say, but he's like, oh, I love those guys. So I think we can get Tom on the show sometime.
they're great guys.
Yeah.
I'd love to, know what I'd love to do, because get some cross-pollination, because I feel like those guys are in like their own world, and they don't know like this great like podcast like society.
Yeah.
You know, of course, if you set Tom on somebody else's show and he said it was an abortion, it might go poorly.
We got more people hanging out in the chat room now. We got Bilal Lovett.
Yeah.
Hey.
I love Bilal Lovett. I had a great phone conversation a couple weeks ago with that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. He should have a podcast. That dude's got a cool voice.
He said, oh shit, I made it. I left work early to catch you all jabrones.
I love it. Is it Bilal Lovett, the one that looks like evil a little bit? Like I can only see the headband. Like is that him or is that Patsy?
That's Patsy.
Oh.
Patsy's got a like a winter hat in his picture.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
We also have Rocky. He says, okay, I'm here. Has anyone sewn Dynimo's mouth to MZ's ass yet?
No, Rocky, no.
And Patsy says, Rocky, they're saving that for episode 150. You can't blow your load at the beginning. Rocky says, fair enough, but you got to lead large. Maybe just 2 Deadites, 1 big gulp. 144 ounces, baby, says Patsy.
If that was the Human Centipede, it would look like one hippo trying to eat another hippo from behind.
Can I fucking
What?
Can we fucking get on with it? It's fucking Human Centipede. Let's fucking
Can you-
get into
can
it.
you inject?
Yeah, like, can we fucking, let's move
Oh,
forward.
you really want to talk about this film? Huh?
I
you
do want to
eject?
fucking talk about it. We got fucking El Goro. We got Zero.
I take
We
it
got
back
Rocky
from the
the
side.
Jackboot.
MonsterZero's head looks really good. Hair looks really good.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
like,
From the
can we
side.
fucking, let's go. Let's get into it.
For
Let's
the
fucking
front, it's kind of
it's
a
been a fucking
travesty,
hour.
but-
Let's get into some fights. Come on. What the fuck? XSplit. Yada, yada, yada. Is what you gotta fucking do. Get some fucking kids. All right? Get a fucking bouncy
Again with the
house.
fucking kids,
Jump
man.
on.
Jesus.
No, Goro. I'm gonna have some kids over my house. We're gonna get a bouncy house.
No,
We're gonna bounce
no.
around. Take your fucking shoes off. When your head's all spinning, strap on. Go to fucking commercial, Johnny. Fuck. Fuck. We got fucking anuses. We got fucking Nazi bastards with their 6 guns.
Clitorises!
Yeah, let's get to a fucking fight. Come on.
And that was last week's show. Yeah. That's just on the panel.
All right. I think you're right. I think we need to. We had a lot of stuff to get to at the beginning.
Yeah.
You guys are just fucking bored.
I'm fucking bored.
Did you run out of
The
porn
big
to watch on
scary-
your
I
phone?
am. Big scary monster hunts at midnight. Buy the fucking records, $5 fucking. Goro, you got it. Come on, let's get fucking aggressive.
Raven Shadow, if you want porn, just go on to Trick or Treat Radio through your father.
Give me
It's
With,
Borrow
with
your
your
phone.
dad's help, he'll lead
Yeah.
you there.
Yeah. Yeah, woo!
All right. I guess we'll cut to a fucking commercial because Raven Shadow says so.
Yeah.
He just wants a cigarette. That's all this is about.
All right, we're gonna cut to a commercial. We're gonna come
On a
back.
T-shirt, he's insufferable.
We're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about the Human Centipede 3.
Do you love a scary story? Do you love to dance? The Big Scary Monster Hunts at Midnight is a collection of dark songs about sex, love, death, revenge, and the end of the world. Brought to you by the world's greatest monster hunting electro-genre band, the Deadites.
This is Round Trip Jones.
And I am Tiny White.
And we're the Deadites.
And you're listening to WCUW
91.3.
20 years of community radio. Oh, baby.
Worcester.
In Worcester.
I'm Ruby Burble.
What's up, y'all? It's me, the Yeti. Telling all the ladies that they couldn't be more fine and that we should knock those boots like Frankenstein. When I want to get my nerd on, I go to Facebook and I go to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. That's the place where I get to talk about all the hip new horror movies, all the cool comics,
Like comics.
RPGs, video games, you name it, we're talking about shit on there. And you could not be any cooler if you were the coolest kid in school. Be the first kid on your block to swing their cock over at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for Trick or Treat Radio, ask to join, and it's like Nerd Nirvana, baby, without the shotgun blast. This is the Yeti, signing out. See you at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group.
Follow us on Twitter at the Deadites, thedeadites.com, and trickortreatradio.com.
Get up, get on up, get up, get on up, get up, get on up.
I feel like I should be walking down the street fighting various thugs.
You should be all the time, El Goro.
Maybe it's just because I've been playing a lot of Streets of Rage, and that song just brought back so many memories.
There you go. So we have returned on Trick or Treat Radio, and you know what, guys? Let's just skip the Human Centipede
Yeah.
review.
Oh, you mean I sat through it and watched it all, and we're just gonna just wash it off? It's like, no, we're done.
We're done. I was just fucking with you guys. You guys actually went through with it.
All right.
You guys actually went through with it and watched it. Suckers.
You goddamn motherfucker. How long have we been friends?
I don't
Did we
know.
get a Bobby Chains voicemail? Because he was mad.
Fuck Bobby Chains.
Well, no, he said he was going to be on. He thought he was going to be on the Human Centipede 3 show.
How long have we been friends, Johnny?
Long time. 20 years. Something
yeah,
like that.
close to that.
Close.
I remember it was Denny's. You wearing a blue shirt.
Blue shirt? I don't have any blue shirts.
You had a blue shirt back
Really?
in '97.
Okay.
Was it
All right.
the Domino's pizza shirts we stole from
Yeah,
Tiny?
that's right.
And I was telling Wife and Shadow.
I thought you want to talk about this movie.
I do. I've never ever gotten into conflict with this fucking guy until now.
Until now.
This is his little preamble.
Yeah.
I was fucking swearing
Pre-ramble.
about this and about you, and I'm sorry about that.
Well, I didn't know about it.
No, you didn't. But there's a lot of bad things that were said
Okay.
on my part.
Okay.
Go.
It's funny you say that because this film is how I feel when I hang out with Michael Ravenshire. Like, I can't believe I just listened to that.
You're Bill Boss.
Bilbo Boss.
All right, so we're going to talk about Human Centipede 3, the final sequence. Yep. This film is not rated 102 minutes. This is a horror film. Is it a horrible film? Well, I guess we'll find out. But it was written and directed by Tom Six, and it stars Brie Olson, Eric Roberts.
Oh, really?
Tom Six.
Oh, Goro.
Robert Lasardo, Tommy Tiny Lister, Dieter. I don't know if it's. I want it to be Laser. Is it? Okay.
It is Laser.
That's
Laser.
Which is even more awesome.
Yes.
Dieter Laser.
And it also has Lawrence Harvey. So this film, the synopsis we have here, taking inspiration from the Human Centipede films, the warden of a notorious and troubled prison looks to create a 500-person human centipede as a solution to his problems. All right, who's gonna fucking kick this one off?
This is the most awful, racist,
I don't think it was.
Not to you.
misogynistic film that we've reviewed in 150 episodes.
Trick!
All right. Yeah.
So like I get a lot of shit. Like I'm supposedly the which I think is funny. I'm supposedly the outrageous sexist one on this panel, but I get a lot of shit for being a huge fan of like the Corman like women in prison films.
Mm-hmm.
But with the exception of a couple of
Well, the key word is women.
the exception of a couple of times, those ladies get their like comeuppance, right? But in this film,
they get to give the comeuppance.
in this film, there is one female character, and she's just treated so terribly. Like I really like got like upset, like not because of the beach scene or stuff like that, like literally just the way that she was treated for what they thought would be funny. Like the over the top, like, sexism of like pushing her around and like the way they talk to her and stuff like that. Like I legitimately got like shaken, upset. Like this movie really ruined my day. Like the racism in this, like again, there's a thing to like if you make a movie about Nazis, right? You're gonna prove that they're racist and stuff like this. But like this seemed like it was just all like part of the gag. Like this was like it took me a while to figure out what this reminded me of. If a shitty trauma movie had a baby with a not funny 90-minute Saturday Night Live skit, it would be this movie because it just didn't stop in that way that not funny Saturday Night Live skits do. Like, and they were hoping that eventually their antics would make it funny, and it just never happened. Like, I would have been better. I would have been curious forever. I'll admit it.
Bi-curious?
Because I said, no, that's the guy from the other show. Because I said I wasn't going to watch it, and I was really going to stick to my guns for sticking my guns' sake. But I ended up with a weird, like, amount of time today that I don't generally have. And I watched it. And I will admit, I saw it. I don't think I missed anything. But in the last, 15 minutes, when Eric Roberts comes back and stuff like that, I was mixing Sing Sang Soons because I just couldn't fucking take it anymore. Like, I literally, and it wasn't an endurance test like I thought it would be. I thought that because I don't like poop, right? That's a well-documented thing on there, right? Like that, like
just,
I can
just your own.
Yeah, I can deal with throw up. I can deal with everything else, like blood, everything else in real life. But poop really, just makes me gag. So I thought that I wasn't going to be able to get through it. This wasn't like what a Serbian film or
Inside.
Not even Inside. What was that? Because I enjoyed. There was a lot that I really enjoyed Inside, and there's a lot that I really enjoyed in Martyrs. I'm talking more like what was that film we watched that Tim from Korea had us watch?
Taxidermia.
Yeah, Taxidermia. That was an endurance test for me to get through because it pushed my buttons of what bothered me. This was legitimately an endurance test for my sensibilities of enjoying film, and I'm not a particularly I mean, you guys listen to this fucking show, right? I'm not a particularly super politically correct guy. But this really, if there's a air of humor here that I just didn't get, I wasn't in on the joke, please someone enlighten me, because I felt like this was just not, I felt like this movie had the sense of humor of a Klan rally.
Oh wait, should I play?
Okay. I got to push back a little bit on that, man,
Yeah,
because I honestly don't think that this film had a antagonistic view against anybody except the audience. And that's actually something that I found very interesting about this entire movie. And I was talking to other people about the Human Centipede franchise because I have some friends that have no desire to see these movies. And when I'd mentioned that I'd seen them and I'd appreciated them to a certain level, they were wondering, well, why would you watch this? And I laid down the whole, genesis of the idea of the human centipede. That it started out as an offhanded comment that director Tom Six made, that he said the only appropriate punishment for child molesters was to surgically attach their lips to somebody, truck driver's anus, I think it was.
Yeah, fat
and
truck driver,
it had such a visceral response out of somebody. He's like, okay, let's turn that into a movie. You know, I'm getting a response. From there, that exploded into this hugely successful thing, something that was discussed in the context of Human Centipede 3, that the fact that it essentially became a meme. I mean, they did a goddamn South Park episode about the Human Centipede. There was a lot of crossover for what otherwise would have just been another fringe body horror, gross out horror movie that we run across a lot as horror fans, yet somehow this was able to penetrate into mainstream culture. Now, one of the complaints that came about in the first Human Centipede was people saying, well, he didn't go far enough, that you didn't actually see the things he was promising by the premise. So which he responded with, all right, Human Centipede 2, I'm going to show you absolutely fucking everything, and you're going to hate yourself for it.
Yep.
And then finally, when we arrive on Human Centipede 3, it just really feels like, shit, I made two films that were intended to not be appreciated and just were kind of, fuck it, I'm going to be completely as antagonistic against you as possible, whilst at the same time taking some very pointed jabs at the prison industrial complex in America.
I've never disagreed with you, but I do right now.
There you go. Right now.
Like, I'm really racking my brain to try, like, even the times, like, the end of Martyrs is a good example of this, where I disagreed with you. Yeah. I understood why we disagreed. Okay. This, I think that you're playing a joke on me.
You see, I'm honestly not, because I actively feel that this entire film was intended as a fuck you to everybody who liked the Human Centipede and who liked the films leading up to this, and that would ever watch the movie at all, just because of the gradual ramping up of the insanity. We look at the incredibly over-the-top performance from Dieter Laser that is completely unhinged.
It's ridiculous.
In every single aspect. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. And the thing is, we know that Tom Six can bring out good performances in actors. Hell, he brought out a good performance in Dieter Laser in the first one. Yet this one, you know, it was hands off. Go as insane as you want. And just the sheer volume of over-the-top, ridiculous gore gags, it almost was approaching for me a level of grotesque satire. That the entire film, again, felt like an attack on the audience.
I think it was trying to be that.
Oh, go for it.
I think it was trying to be that.
Well, I think one of the things I liked initially, right off the bat, is that, okay, you're thinking, like, I like how self-aware this film is. So, we're diving right into this, and I'm probably not going to talk too much about the plot. I mean, it's fucking in the title, you know? So we don't really need to go too deep into it, but...
I would totally give a quick synopsis.
The plot?
No. So I kind of liked how self-aware the film was, and like poking fun at himself, I thought was actually kind of fun, you know, and what people think about the film, and I just thought that was kind of an interesting take on things.
I think it only worked once, though, and I could tell you exactly where it is. Like, it was that almost Adam Green-esque scene where he was like on his knees in the cell block.
Yeah.
Yelling that I did all this, I should be respected. Like, I feel like that's the only time that it worked. And like, I feel like the rest of it was overshadowed by like its meanness.
Can I go before MZ? I think.
Go. Just fucking say it.
All right.
This is an old one.
Yeah.
All right. Just because I've never seen one or two, and I've no
Neither have I.
desire
It's worth saying
to watch that.
But I don't think that, at least from like a story point of view or, or whatever, I don't think it would have hurt.
I mean, these films are not really connected, because the second one acknowledges that the first one's a movie, and the third one acknowledges the first and second ones are also movies.
Yeah.
So it's like this nesting doll of meta commentary.
And thank you for that. Oh, Goro, you're fucking smart. All right, listen. And I the worst one, we were making dinner. And I thought I was going to watch Ex Machina with Wife in Shadow first, and then she'd go to bed, and then I would watch Human Centipede 3 by myself and drink myself alone. She's like, well, no, why don't you eat and watch that one, and then we'll watch the other one. And I was like, well, I'm not fucking eating this fucking burrito while I watch Human Centipede 3. I paused it and finished eating. So yeah, this started off very meta, right? I'm not sure what meta means, but apparently in this world, the two Human Centipede movies existed as film, right? And it opens up with who's the guy? Dieter
Laser.
Well, his
Dieter
name's
Laser.
Bill Boss.
Bill Boss, the warden of the prison.
Yeah.
Who's all right? It's a bad place. He's a bad guy. He sees these movies, and apparently, he wants to invoke all these medieval torture devices. And he's got like his boy Friday, who's like, no, they should really, sew each other ass to mouth. It's like, no, fuck that. I'm gonna cut their fucking balls off. And he's like a fucking like a Yosemite. He's like a Yosemite Sam meets Jack Palance motherfucker. Right? Like he's out of his mind. Like I would love this motherfucker to play like Dr. Mindbender from G.I. Joe. Or like even like you want to play J. Jonah Jameson. That'll fucking knock J.K. Simmons out the box. Parker! I'm gonna fucking sew your ass to fucking Robbie Robinson.
I know. Maybe it's because he's German, but I was getting more of a Klaus Kinski vibe, particularly on films where he didn't have directors pointing guns at him, demanding he give a good performance. Klaus did some real shit films in his career.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if this guy's like a character actor, I've never seen him before until now. But I'm watching like the first 15, 20 minutes, and it's not that bad. Like I'm kind of intrigued. Like I don't know. Apparently he's watching these movies. I kind of liked it in a weird fucking way.
Okay.
And then you're waiting for the horrible shit to happen. And I don't think the violence in this was that much different from your crime movie. Or, I don't think it was that over the top.
It was a little extreme at times.
I was expecting more.
We did see a full-on, castration scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
but-
also saw a dude fuck another dude's liver.
We didn't talk about that
Kidneys. The
I'm
soft
sorry.
kidney
Kidney.
meat.
Sorry.
Death by rape was fucking
that,
weird.
But that's not the first time that's happened. I mean, if you watch,
how was last Saturday?
shut up. if you watch,
I heard about your bar mitzvah.
if you watch August Underground, Mortem,
Which are fake.
there
snuff
is
films.
a scene. There is a scene where a gutted girl that's tied down in a chair. And some
Stop
guy
talking.
Shut
comes
up.
over
Stop talking.
and starts
Stop
fucking her
talking.
guts. No, you shut up.
You shut up.
My
That
turn.
was
My
right.
turn to talk. You shut
Yeah,
up.
but you're talking about dumb things.
No, I'm not talking about dumb things. I'm talking about August Underground Mortem.
What I'm saying is it had the same sort of sensibilities that a KKK rally had.
Yes, thank you, Tiny.
Wait a minute. What?
So it's not an entirely new idea, although it is always
To most
interesting
people,
to
it
see
is.
that.
Yeah.
Fuck, I watched that for breakfast.
but this, when I watched this movie was a love letter to Tom.
I thought he was going to say this movie is lovely.
It was a love letter to me.
This movie is a love letter to Tom Six. He made it strictly for himself.
That's like writing a love letter to yourself.
Yeah, he did.
Tom Six,
He did.
I love you. Love
did.
Tom Six.
He did.
Do you love me too?
He did.
Circle yes or no.
But at the same time, he kind of portrayed himself as being a douchebag. When he
but if you
himself shows up in the movie and he's wearing that fucking hat, he's acting all Hollywood.
Yeah, but that's how he acts when he's given the interviews. He's got the stupid fucking hat on. He's got the stupid fucking glasses on. I mean, that's that. I mean, I don't think he's really acting. That's his actual personality. The guy's an actual. I mean, from what I've seen of his interviews, the guy comes across as a total fuck. He really does.
Total fuck.
You see, but to me, I wonder how much of that is actually just a long con. Now, it's entirely possible, he is just as much of an asshole as you think he is, but there is something about his films that lead me to believe that they were all intended to be a joke on us, and then he just kept ramping up the joke. I mean, it basically at this point, this is the culmination of an aristocrat's joke.
It's very possible. I mean, although I think he scaled it back a bit, quite a bit actually, in this film, in comparison to in comparison to Part 2.
Well, Part 2 was definitely the more harrowing of them all.
Part 2 is definitely the best or the worst of the bunch, depending on whether or not you like it.
Well, out of all of them, that's the only one that has actively disturbed me. was part 2.
Part 2 is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But as far as now the performances go,
performances.
Oh my God, I have not heard so much screaming come out of one person in my life. Dieter Laser,
sure?
that's all he fucking does is scream from frame 1 to frame whatever.
Except the one scene when Tom Six shows up for the first time. That's like the
that's
only
true.
one.
Yeah. I don't.
But he was still doing that tongue thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know if which movie do you think has more screaming? This film or Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation?
Ooh, that's close. I would probably go with this film, because, as you said, every line is screamed.
Yeah.
But
And
the
it
difference is that-
becomes an assault at a certain point.
does.
Trying to follow him, and it might be an aspect of his screaming, might be an aspect of his accent, but I missed about half of his lines.
Yeah, and he draws out every single word, twice as long as it would normally say, as it would normally take to say a normal word when you're screaming. And the accent just does not help. And on top of that, he's trying to play like a Texas cowboy. He's got the fucking cowboy hat on.
He was trying to play like Huntress Thompson. Almost.
Yeah, but that was his gimmick. He knew he was German, and like he loved.
He knew he was German.
Yeah, and that's
Well, the character was written as German. I mean, they do make mention that he integrated.
German American. Yeah.
And you admit your faults by stating it.
And
being German is a fault.
I'm just saying, 1945. I remember.
Christ.
You know what I mean? Like I wasn't there. But
Raven Shadow. You are about
Nazis.
as sharp as a wet bag of dicks. Okay.
Hey, in 1945, what side were the Italians on?
Listen, I'm not saying that bad decisions were made. I'm not saying that the mistakes weren't made.
It's
Goro.
funny that you bring up Texas Chainsaw Massacre because that particular film was like really hurt my feelings because I was with that franchise right up until then. The last one.
Next
before
generation.
Next Generation.
3D.
No, well, not 3D.
Oh, you're talking about
last
the
one-
original series.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I really hated it. I didn't like it. It was disappointing. I keep going back and trying to watch it every once in a while to see if there's some watchability there because I really enjoy elements of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. With this film, good, bad, or indifferent, I didn't even feel like it was a fucking movie. I felt like it was like a I don't know, like a I don't, maybe I just ended up with like some sort of like, maybe I was just open because I had watched, already taken in a couple of screenings of the next film. But I just felt like this was, like this honestly made Dear God No look like they loved women. Like this made Dear God No look like the glorious Steiner love.
No,
that's
I disagree, my brother. No,
I disagree too.
If that's how you feel, yeah. But I mean, Dear God, no way they fucking loved women.
I don't. Yeah, no.
There's only one character in this film,
Right, who they treated abysmally for laughs.
If it wasn't for her father being in prison,
Look at The Seasoning House. The Seasoning House is a movie about treating women poorly, right? But there's an arc there, right? There is just doing this for yucks. This is like Benny Hill, like turned up to like 5,800. There's no
I disagree.
anything
I would agree with you if it weren't for the subplot of the relationship between Dwight, his little assistant, and the relationship that he has with the secretary. That, we're introduced to her. We know that she's abused by the warden. There's given a brief backstory of the fact that her father was in prison. The warden freed her, and now she's pretty much his sexual servant. And they set up a couple of little sweet scenes between her and Dwight. And it gives you the expectation. It's like, okay, we've seen where this goes in movies before. That, eventually she's going to leave the warden and maybe she'll end up with Dwight. It's a thing. And then Tom Six rips that all away. Again, I feel this movie is a gigantic fuck you to the audience. It's basically, whatever expectations you have, we are just going to go lowest common denominator. And I think there's a difference between doing that as a deliberate statement and doing it as just because you think it's awesome, like it was the case in Dear God No.
But
no, the character development though between
I hope
between
you're
Dwight,
using air quotes right now.
That's the thing. Anytime there was a character getting developed, they ended up, brutalized in some way or sewn on another person's ass.
Yeah. I just never bought into the idea of the relationship between Dwight and the secretary. Not because of their physical attributes, but just because of the way they were written. I just felt it was very, very weak. And they could have.
Well, he just had a crush on her. That's it.
And I didn't even read him that way.
The scene I'm talking about, it was the scene where she was crying and he handed her her handkerchief. Then the next time that they interacted, whereas before she met him with nothing but disgust, she was actually being kind to him. Like when he walked back in after being fired by the warden. And she actually looked legitimately happy to see him. It was the beginnings of the idea that, okay, they're going a certain direction with these characters, and then it completely gets torn away. Now, I'll admit the characters written are incredibly thin, and this story beat was very perfunctory, but I do think it was there.
Yeah, even if you're right, and I feel like he liked her in a drug her and put her in the trunk sort of crush. Like,
that's just because he played the bad guy in Human Centipede II.
I feel like, let's just say that this was it, right? Like,
yeah.
Regardless of what its end game was, I feel like there are certain elements of the politics of this that you can't excuse along the way, because what it took to get there.
Okay.
It's like breaking down like a ceramic wall with a hammer. Like the landscape might look better without it, but I still fucking broke something with a hammer. And I think that this is so heavy-handed that they don't like it. If it is an indictment on my sensibilities, congratulations. But it's also like you're not going to ignore that. I feel like you can't ignore that it was mean-spirited towards me, because it was mean-spirited within itself.
Definitely.
I gotta say, I don't see the racism at all.
Because you're racist and sexist.
No, I am sexy. No, but like it was all the inmates. It was all, and to be fair, they were fucking bad guys. Like they weren't.
You don't think that they? Well, yeah, but it doesn't mean that like
they're bad guys.
All right, so but still, disliking them because they're bad guys is one thing. Disliking them because that guy's a Nazi and calling them the word that I can't say because I'm not in Wu-Tang Clan is different. Like
I don't think
Noogie.
Yeah, no, but I mean the guy that the Spanish guy that they cut the balls off, great character actor, Tiny Lista. It wasn't about racism. It was about they're bad guys.
He was a Nazi.
No, he loved America.
He did love America.
He loved the flag. He loved Dominican in the umbrella. Didn't like the
he loved
cigars.
African circumcision.
I want you to go back.
That was a weird turn.
African clitorises.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? That's what Dynamo eats.
If you go back and watch all day, if you go back and watch and Swedish and Italian, like all kinds.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch that scene with Tiny Liston, right?
Yeah.
That is a racist, mean part of this film with no context at all.
Tiny was being a dick and wanted to rape him. To be fair, everyone, and I'm not saying that. Sorry, Goro, 2 seconds, brother. Okay.
No, go.
And then you can drop some science. I'm not saying that.
It's a clean up your shit.
Yeah, I think we're on the fucking same page, brother. Just turn it, dog ear it, okay? I think that the evil German Nazi Texas warden was a dick. To be fair, his prisoners were also kind of dicks for being in prison, and it wasn't like general population. These were some fucking hardcore motherfuckers.
This wasn't even as subtle as Elsa, the wicked warden of the SS.
No, and he's not wrong.
This was mean.
I think you should.
Dude, it's operating on the exact same level as the Elsa films, in my opinion.
And that's the thing, like super soon, Goro.
Other than the fact that the warden isn't sexy.
No,
no, we do get to see him fairly naked and get fucked.
Seems very exploitation driven. Like this is fucking Grindhouse. This is that. right?
Because Grindhouse Movies has an operative word in it. Movie.
Oh, I hate
and
that.
I don't think that this
term.
was this.
I hate that term, Grindhouse. But like, it's that exploitation era. It's a cartoon, right? It's not fucking real life.
It's
It ain't
bad.
fucking Casablanca.
Yeah, you don't like cartoons.
I like live action cartoons.
Not to mention, even after we went through all of this, the payoff was paper thin.
Yeah,
at
I agree,
best.
I agree.
At
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
I will give you.
I mean, we get the 500 inmates all linked up, right? And there's maybe one instance, one scene, and it's a faraway distance shot of the passing of shit to mouth,
Yeah.
shit to mouth. There's only one. I think there was only
I'm sorry
one
you
one
didn't get
scene.
enough fucking shit mouth for you to go like it.
Well,
you want, we can
you know
go to
what?
the other
I mean,
room and take
if you're
care of
gonna
that.
make it better, if you're gonna make it nastier, you got to have more than one.
Well, here's the thing. I think what it was, I think the human caterpillar was the was the thing that was,
It was
supposed
supposed to be the
shock
big
you.
spot.
Yeah,
The big, but it
No,
really
even
wasn't.
Oh,
even
yeah,
that
human
one. That
caterpillar,
one
that's
just
right.
kind of was an
I agree.
ineffective scene. I mean, it's just like, oh, look, it's a human centipede, but they have no arms and legs, but they're all bound up in the prison orange, so you
Yeah.
really don't see anything.
Yeah.
It's could have
And
been.
I don't know. It's to return to something that Dynamo was saying, though, the idea of the racism of the film. The only reason I don't think that this film would necessarily qualify as having racist sensibilities is because the only person in this movie who is racist is such a repellent character. As bad as all of the prisoners are, we hate the Bill Boss more than all of them because we've had to be with this motherfucker for so long. So
and
when he
listen
says
to
these
repellent.
racist things, we have no sympathy with him, so we know the sympathy of the movie is not with him.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, there's a lot of bad shit that's said in this film, and as far as racial, it's not even an overtone as far as like some of the racist language and some of the sexist acts, but it's this one repugnant character. If it was, I don't know, I think in that sense he does it so that we hate him, and I think it was effective in that sense. Did they have to go that far? Probably not. But I think Tom Six was just like I think he figured, let's just go in excess here, not the band, but
I did watch the InXS the telefilm the other day, the InXS biofilm.
I think what he was thinking was, if it's good enough to do, it's good enough to overdo, and that was sort of his mantra on this film.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think why you should look in this in terms of a satire is the things it has to say about our prison system, and particularly at the end where they said, this will they embrace the idea of using the human centipede, because if you look at a lot of other people's views of us, particularly the way we treat prisoners, the fact that based upon our population, we have probably the most amount of people incarcerated ever, and the fact that we also actively embrace the death penalty, whereas most Western cultures don't, most developed nations don't. I honestly feel that this entire thing, in addition to being an assault on the audience, was a gigantic satire of our prison system. The fact that the rest of the world really does look at us like we are a bunch of fucking barbarians for the way that we treat our prisoners. Particularly when you look at Tom Six himself, who's, Dutch, and you look at their prison system and some of the countries around them, it is very, very lenient. They are very big on rehabilitation. Whereas ours, we seemed more concerned with a rather medieval idea of punishment.
It's fucking smart, El Goro.
Yeah, it is interesting, and I think they had an opportunity to explore that a little further, but I think that was just that was sort of buried way underneath the gags and the gore and
The ineptness.
and the politically incorrectness. So I think they could have probably done a little bit more with that, but it was just buried too far underneath everything else.
Yeah, and that's something I would definitely agree, because while I'm saying all these things about these movies of what the intention of the film was, what I was seeing as was kind of the mission statement of the film, it doesn't take away from the fact that in many ways this is a very poorly put together film. I can appreciate what they were going for, just like I can appreciate a lot of times what Uwe Boll is doing in some of his movies, like Postal or Assault on Wall Street. And I can see, okay, these are the politics of the filmmakers. This is the mess that they're doing. They're not doing a great job doing it, but I can kind of see what they're going for.
Yeah. At times, I felt this movie was really awkward, and I think it pushes boundaries just for the sake of pushing boundaries. Yeah. And all the things said, I actually agree with you on a lot of things, El Goro, and I think that Tom Six was sort of thinking, okay, you guys like these first two, you stupid motherfuckers, I'm gonna just reel you in and give you something that, something, if you like that, like, see if you like this one, and so I almost feel there's like this adversarial relationship with the people who like the Human Centipede films and Tom Six. So I think there is an element of that. But I also feel, and this is I thought we might get into a deeper discussion about this, but because it's not just this film, but there's a lot of films out there that just push boundaries for the sake of pushing boundaries. And would you guys consider that art? Is it art to do that? Because, I mean, I know that there is some art, whether it be music or actually like paintings or something like that, that push boundaries to make people think about certain things. And they do it to get a rise out of people. And I don't necessarily think that's what Tom Six, if he went for it, I don't know that he achieved that
he
here.
was capable of it.
Because I really think that this was just for the sake of doing it and not to tell a good story.
I agree. I think that shame on us for reviewing this and talking about it, because this is like the fucking boogeyman. This exists because we give it power. This lives on the same plane as the Hiltons and the Kardashians. Like, this is like a thing that exists because people are like, oh, this crazy fucking thing that exists, and we watched it, whatever else. But like, really, it's just trash, in my opinion. Like, I don't have an opinion on the first two, other than this makes it not a rush for me to go watch it. But like, this is awful, boring trash. And I feel like I don't generally think that, like, I'm okay with the fact that there's art out there that's not for me. It's not for me, but I don't think that this is for anybody. It looks bad. It's not funny. It doesn't, like, it's not like, I think I saw a boom mic. Like, it's just like reprehensible.
So the point, what do you think the point was then, Dynamo? Do you think he just wanted to push boundaries and
I
just
think
for the
that,
sake
I don't
of
know
doing
how
it?
much money these make, so I don't know that, but I think that that's fundamentally what it was for.
Just to capitalize on the popularity of the other ones and try to make a buck?
Yeah, and I think that IFC probably made a lot more money than Tom Six did off these.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they may have had some say in, like, wanting, not that they're a big evil empire like like a Disney or whatever, but I think that they were very open to the suggestion of another one, because it's a film that, you bring it to, you just bring the name, and the theater exhibitors are where do I sign up? This is going to get some sort of release, not a multiplex release.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of, in the back of my mind, wonder if he didn't take one more swing of it to try to get to, like, another level, to wonder if the pop culture-ness of this was like, was going to make it be, like on competing with Avengers, I guess. But like,
I mean, he said it from the jump that this was going to be his last Human Centipede movie.
Right. But I wonder how much of it was like, because this didn't do anything that the other ones didn't do so far. Like, I feel like, as far as like breaking in the, and now I think it did less than the first one was a thing because it was made a thing. It was made a pop culture phenomenon. The second one was like easy money because people were looking at it. So he raised the bar. From everything I hear about it, this was a step back in every way, in how it looked and how visceral it was, and I don't know, it just felt like a bad, mean-spirited student film. And like, I don't know like who this was for. Like the satire didn't work. The art didn't work, and because of that, it's sort of like I'm really big on being self-aware, right? So if you're not a good singer-songwriter, right? If you're me, you don't go out there with an acoustic guitar and sing these heartfelt songs because it's not what you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a fucking idiot, right, and like you don't go make this this very caustic assault on the American prison system because you're not competent enough to pull it off. Like, and what your filler is bad misogynistic gags and totally lifeless, flaccid characters and ridiculous characters of like actual evil people. So like it made like so these people like all the prisoners like so it's an assault on how bad the American prison system is. Then don't have all your prisoners break into a fucking rape chant every opportunity that they get, because then who's the victims here? Because those guys deserve to be in that prison or a worse prison,
Right. Well, yeah, exactly.
or have their livers fucked.
Everybody was bad except for Brie Olson.
Oh, well,
Pretty
we
much.
don't know that.
Yeah, well,
I've seen some Brie Olson films, and I assure you, this wasn't the worst fucking thing she encountered.
right, but
Oh
in,
yeah,
right?
no kidding, right?
But in it-
There you go, man.
but
Brie
in
Brie
itself,
Olson is hot.
right? But in itself,
Snurd.
I feel like you two were saying two totally different things.
Well, I think the only one would be Dwight, even though it was his idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
No,
I wouldn't say he's a. I wouldn't say he's a sympathetic character.
He's got some
at all.
fucking problems too.
He's
and
but he's the only. If there's anyone in the film you're supposed to feel sympathy for, it's either Brie Olson's character Daisy or
no, you can't. Now, I'm sorry,
or Dwight.
Johnny. What did these guys play other characters in the previous?
Yeah, so okay, that's one thing I wanted to talk about. So one of the things you were mentioning, Dynamo, is when you have a flick like this, we have so Dieter Laser played the Doctor in Human Centipede 1.
Correct.
And Lawrence Harvey played was he a doctor in the second one? I can't
No,
remember.
he was.
No,
he was like
a fan.
He was a
Fan,
yeah. He was
yeah.
a fan of the movie. A
to
total
quote
moron.
Ethan McGloofabits, he was just MonsterZero.
So Lawrence Harvey was the main antagonist of the second film. Okay. So you have the third film with both of those guys in it, and they're playing completely different characters. They're on the opposite, almost opposite ends of the spectrum. If you look at like what Lawrence Harvey's character was in Human Centipede 2 compared to this, it's like the other side of the spectrum.
That I did like. I did like the fact that Lawrence Harvey can actually act.
I liked his character too. I thought he
For
played.
real?
I thought he
Oh,
played
yeah.
the character really well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
honestly, I think he is actually a very talented performer because
He is, yeah.
if you see what he did in Human Centipede 2, it is so
Fucking
incredibly different. I mean, I don't even think he had any lines in
It's
Human
fucking
Centipede
creepy too.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Yeah,
a very
and
nice man. I'll give you both
He
that.
is,
in
yeah.
real life.
Well, in Centipede 2, he is genuinely disturbing and creepy. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
So you're telling me
You
that
know
this director is capable of making a genuinely disturbing
Yes.
film, right? Which
Well,
is what
yes,
I've heard
yes.
about Human Centipede
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
2.
Yes.
So
You'll never watch Human Centipede 2.
doesn't it make it more like offensive how much of a failure this is on every level then?
Not really, because one thing that the entire series has done is that he's basically reinvented his entire filmmaking style every time he does one of these movies. But from a visual standpoint, from an editing standpoint, from even a sound design standpoint, each of these movies is distinct from the one that came before it. So when we are talking, or when I'm watching Human Centipede 3, I can see what he's going for. He's going for broad. It's in the color palette. It's in the way that the things are cut. It's in everything that it feels like a comedy. It feels like him just going, essentially making a cartoon has been thrown out. Now, again, it is a failure, but I could at least appreciate the effort. You know, I could see him trying to approach the same kind of grotesque satire as someone like Pier Paolo Pasolini in Salo, which again is dealing with actual it is reflecting upon the world and going as over the top as it can, and being as grotesque as possible in order to make a deeper statement about the things that it's commenting on. I believe that Human Centipede was attempting to do the same thing. It just did not succeed.
Yeah, I mean, we're about to put out like a live show of ours that's probably the worst, shittiest like thing in the world. Like,
and I'm bad at promotion.
When I got on the stage, like I wanted to be Depeche Mode. But like we kept kicking chords out and things happened and it was shitty.
We're apple pie a la mode.
Yeah, like you know the best intentions and all, but like we were awful and this is awful.
All right, we have to. I want to actually wrap this up soon.
Because I want to talk about another movie.
Yeah, I do as
That's
well.
Fair. That's fair.
One thing I wanted to call out though, I'm surprised nobody. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but did you guys see the cameo of the guy who had Crohn's disease?
What was that about?
Who was that?
And
It was fucking Gangrel.
Was it?
I thought so. Damn it! I thought so. Okay.
It was fucking Gangrel.
So.
I was so blown away that I didn't know that's what Crohn's disease was.
Oh yeah, your intestines basically like just eat themselves, and it's not good.
Now,
I
see,
had
that's
no
what I
fucking
thought.
idea.
That's what I fucking thought, and I'm like, no. I'm like, no, it can't be.
Yeah.
You thought I had Crohn's disease.
It is.
Yeah.
I might have
Yeah.
that.
I thought that. So
It's fucking Gangrel. I thought that was awesome.
But
David
my
Heath,
whole
yeah.
insides, not just my intestines, are eating themselves up.
He loves
and I'm
that prison
dying.
lifestyle.
So I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Does anyone have anything before we head to the verdict that they want to get out of their system?
Fuck you, Patsy Ray Hall, for championing this thing.
Leave Patsy alone.
Yeah, leave Patsy
Yeah, let's
alone.
go to the
Yeah,
fucking
don't bug
theater and
Patsy,
see
man.
this. And
Oh, what-
you, I hope you fucking hated it because you're honest to God. You better, if you say treat, you better just fucking hold up your armpit.
Dude, you don't scare me in the slightest.
I should scare you in the slightest.
You don't scare me in the slightest.
Just because every time you go home and
You
kiss
don't
your
scare
girlfriend,
me.
taste me.
You
doesn't
don't
mean that I should
scare
be
me.
afraid of you.
Yeah, get it
You
fired
don't
up.
scare me.
He means it.
All right, in the chat room about
Bozo.
a half hour ago, Patsy says, I bought Human Centipede 2 on Valentine's Day, and Ashes and I watched it while eating sushi. That's our idea of romance.
But from what I hear, that was a movie, right? Like that was
Yes.
they actually
Yeah.
that like succeeded in.
So in the context of the world, 1 and 2 were films, but this has really happened.
No, because two
No.
is actually, like he said, it's like a nesting doll of
Yeah.
meta-ness because
Boom, boom, boom.
because one was a
One was a film. Two was real life. Well, one was real life. Two was real life, which incorporated one as being a film,
Yeah.
and part 3 did the same with parts 1 and 2.
which is the other thing that was fucking
This is
irritating
more
about-
fucking confusing than fucking DC's Convergence.
which is the other thing like that was fucking irritating about this. I hate Convergence, and I would rather read that again than watch this.
Really?
Yeah, it was fucking terrible. But don't even get me fucking started on that thing I loved all the way up to the last issue, the new 52, like Tomorrow or whatever it's fucking called, that weekly
Yeah,
comic
it's
that
bad
fucking
times.
came out and didn't have an ending. 52 issues, they fucking make me read it, and then at the end they say to be continued in Convergence. Fuck you, DC, and fuck you, Human Centipede,
We'll
because
see you
you
in
just
Human-
you just gave me the same fucking movie that I didn't see the first time. Except you tricked me into watching the shitty version of the same movie. You fucking piece of trash, Tom Six.
Tom C. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Fuck's sake.
I don't know. I have a feeling if Tom Six heard you say that, he would probably sit back and be like, "Mission accomplished." Because again, I feel this movie is antagonistic against its viewers.
Yep.
Great.
He would tip that fucking hat down to his to the brim over his fucking glasses with a stogie sticking out of his mouth.
This dude makes Bowl or whatever you say his name look like fucking
Uva.
Orson Welles.
Uva Bowl.
Manute Bowl.
he makes him look
Uber
like
Bowl.
a Manute Bowl. Last two things in the chat room before we head to the verdict. Belial says, "Oh shit, is this an updated MonsterZero top 10 death by rape countdown?" And then Patsy says, "I was hoping for a field trip for this."
Yeah, well, fuck you, Patsy. I would have punched you right in the armpit. I love you like a brother. You've done so much for me, but this would have made me punch you in the fucking armpit.
All right, well, let's go to the verdict.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, time for verdict. This is where we tell you whether this film was a trick or a treat, and we find out if Dynamo's going to punch anyone in the armpit.
So let me just put what's going to happen here, okay?
Wait, one sec, Dynamo. Also, what I would like to do, I want everyone to do a tagline for this. I actually like that, so maybe we'll see if we can do it for some film. So if you think of a tagline that you'd put on the box art. All right, Dynamo, go ahead.
So you're not going to know when it is.
Yep.
It's not going to be right now.
Okay.
You might not even know I'm there. I might come fucking running out of the bushes when you get out of your house, right? But what's going to happen is if you say this is a treat, I'm going to fucking tackle you, right, outside your house. And Tiny will help me, too. I'm going to fucking pull your shirt over your head like a fucking hockey fight, right? I'm going to punch you in the armpits as hard as I can. But when I do it, after I make contact, I'm going to fucking move my fingers apart, right? And I'm going to clamp it on your armpit and pull it out. And then I'm going to punch you in the armpit again.
What if El Goro says treat?
I will go to Kent and do it, too. He won't know what it is.
All right, so Raven Shadow, why don't we kick off with you?
149 episodes.
Yep.
This is the first movie that I actually reviewed as a critic. It wasn't personal. I came to this fucking flick really fucking aggressive. I was fucking swearing. Johnny,
but it's a treat.
I love you very much. I said a lot of bad things about you that I'm not going to tell you what I said. And I don't mean them.
Well, I don't know about him, so why are you even saying anything?
Forget I said that. Because I didn't mean it.
Okay.
But, you can't review Casablanca the same way you review Ted. You know what I'm saying?
No.
No, I don't know what you're saying at all.
One's about a fucking...
I kind of see what you're saying.
Thank you, fucking El Goro.
You have to take a movie with what it's trying to be, not what you want it to be.
Thank you, sir. One's about fucking Bogart, and one's about a fucking Coke
You have a fucking
Muppet.
translator now on this show.
Thank you. All right. So I fucking the legend of this flick, I'm like, this is going to be the most fucking sickest, twisted, whatever the fuck, demented.
Why do you sound like fucking Cheech all of a sudden?
Because I'm fucking upset. And then I watched it, and I'm like, well, this is kind of funny, or cute, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it's got your sensibilities.
No,
That's
but
why.
it's
You're
so...
misogynistic,
No,
racist
it's
ways.
Not.
It is
so
too.
harmless. This movie is not fucking rough at all. It's not. It's a fucking PG. It's a hard PG-13. This ain't scary. This ain't scary. Sons of Anarchy juice at the end of the season was fucking bad times.
Don't say it.
Right?
Jesus.
Marilyn Manson, Goro.
He probably hasn't seen it, you dick.
I haven't seen the last season, man.
All right, well, it's bad times. I'm sorry, we got fucking Netflix available. No, but I liked the fucking dude, man. It was funny.
Of course you did.
Like you.
But it's not real. None of this was a threat. I wasn't scared by any of this.
This was like a fucking propaganda movie for you.
No,
this could have
but
been
it was-
about you.
It was not about being outrageous. It wasn't racist.
Wait,
It
you want to
wasn't-
have your liver fucked?
My liver is fucked. But that's...
In a different way.
Yeah. You don't want that. Listen, I wasn't scared. It wasn't bad. It wasn't worse than I thought it was. I would say it was a treat.
Oh,
shit.
I know.
Treat.
I know where you live. Here's where it's gonna happen too.
Chains, call in.
There's a spot where I kissed the girl that used to live in that house that you live in. Yes. I'm gonna fucking drag you right over there to punch you in the armpit. I'm gonna fucking throw you off the side of the fucking into the driveway of the next house.
Well, do whatever you want to do to
wait.
him, Dynamo. Just don't mess up his hair.
Are you saying that for real, or are you just saying it just to be
No,
contrarian? Okay,
I
just making sure.
Wife and Shadow came down during the death by rape scene, and she's like, "Fucking really?" And I'm like, "It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It really isn't. Honestly."
She got fired up.
She's pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm gonna watch it fucking every Thanksgiving, but it wasn't that bad.
You'll watch it on Christmas Eve, though.
Yeah, it was. It would really.
All right. We got other people
Treat.
to talk to. All right, MZ.
Oh God! If it was up to Raven Shadow, that human centipede would be in the shape of a fucking swastika.
Are you fucking out of your fucking mind? Not even fucking close. Don't be outrageous because you think you're fucking on the same level. All right? It's fucking prisoners. They're fucking degenerates. That's fine. You know, like I love America.
Shut up! Just shut up!
Fuck you!
Just shut up!
You shut up!
Just
Why'd
shut
you
up,
watch some
please.
more? Why'd you watch some more
Please,
Korean
just
kids
shut
dying
up.
and their parents paying for their death?
just
Remember that
shut
fucking
up.
movie?
Yes, yes. Men Behind the Sun. Thank you very much.
There you go.
I don't. Did we watch that?
No, it was a sick fuck. Well, we had
Just
Andrea on.
Just shut up.
I don't remember that at all.
You shut up.
Just shut up.
You shut up. Just go fuck yourself.
All right, MZ.
This film, Jesus. This film was nihilistic. It was extraordinarily mean-spirited. Definitely one of the most mean-spirited films I've ever seen. The racist aspect, yes, very much so, but that doesn't bother me.
I enjoy that.
Not in the same sense as Raven Shadow.
It's
here.
kind of like watching SpongeBob SquarePants.
Not in the same sense as Racist Shadow here.
No.
Listen.
This is fucking.
But
You're retarded.
the film that was put together was not put together very well. I didn't like this film. It wasn't very enjoyable. It had all the aspects of something that I would enjoy because I love that sort of thing, but it was so sloppily put together. The Bill Boss, Dieter Laser, there's absolutely you can't side with this guy for a second. Lawrence Harvey as Dwight, was that his name?
Yeah.
Dwight?
Yeah.
Another one, he may seem to be more timid, more of a milquetoast sort of character. You almost want to like the guy, but because he's the guy who came up with this idea, there's just no way you can side with him.
I got my quote.
All right.
You know, and but I mean, and the only one I really did like was Brie Olson's character, but that's only because it was Brie Olson. Now, I mean, yeah, I'm going to turn into a complete pig here, but I mean, I
got turned into.
I thought she for a quote unquote mainstream film, she wasn't too terrible. I mean, she was the ditzy blonde secretary. A sack of potatoes could play that, but a sack of potatoes doesn't have a body like she does. So that partially makes up for it.
There's vegetables and she's a hot
That
porn
partially
star.
makes up for it. But
I'm
man,
swallow
I
my
just did
chair
not.
So I choke on it.
But I just did not like this film. I think it's Tom Six's love letter to himself. He puts himself in the film. He brings up the self-reference, the self-referential pop culture phenomenon that became Human Centipede.
Right.
He's saying that in case you never heard of it. See, this is what they do. Yeah, the South Park character episode rather. Human Centipede.
They had the fucking DVDs. It was like product placement.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, it was kind of a love letter to himself, saying, "You know what? This is I made this for me, and if you guys don't like it, then fuck off." Well, fuck you, Tom Six. I was expecting something big. I didn't get it. And the payoff was ultra cheesy and ultra cheap. Yeah. And although I will say I envy the guy who ended up getting attached to Brie Olson's ass. Absolutely a trick.
There's a long lines of guys who've been attached to her ass over the years.
Oh yeah. I saw her fuck two old Japanese guys.
Jesus Christ!
And now she's fucking Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Daddy's gonna fucking do some binging tonight.
Raven Shadow, what's your tagline?
All right, Human Centipede 3. Hard to swallow, but harder to follow.
Oh my lord.
All right, what's your tagline, MZ? You have one?
Clitorises.
Fuck you, Tom Six. That should be it.
Fuck you, Tom Six. You suck.
All right, Dynamo.
You want my tagline?
Oh, I want your verdict.
Trick.
Into the mic.
Trick.
All right, your tagline.
Dear God, no!
Goro,
Dear God, no!
All right, how about you, Goro?
Okay, I talked a bit about this movie of what I think the intentions were, and there were a lot of moments where I could appreciate the absolute audaciousness of it, because I honestly feel that they were trying to do more than simply throw out a collection of gore gags and trying to be as offensive as possible. I believe that there was intent behind their offense. However, that said, I've seen it done a lot better. And whilst I can appreciate the effort, what resulted, it just wasn't that great of a film. One that I don't feel comfortable recommending to people, not necessarily because of their content, because I have no problem recommending heavy content films if I feel it has something important to say. It's just because it wasn't particularly well put together. You know, if you want something that does this sort of thing better, you're better served watching a film like Solo. So ultimately, at the end of this, my armpits are going to be safe because I'm going to rate this as a trick. I am not nearly as antagonistic against this film as some of the people on this call, but at the end of the day, it was not a great film. I would consider it a worthy failure, and I still look forward to seeing what else Tom Six has in store for us, but this was just a misfire in an otherwise pretty decent series of films.
All right. Do you have a tagline, El Goro?
Fuck you.
All right.
Because I honestly feel that was Tom Six's position while making this movie.
Yeah. All right. So this movie really does nothing for me as far as a film or a narrative, and I know that's not really the idea behind it. But as I said, it's really excess for just for the point of excess. It's trying to be as offensive as possible, and I just don't think there's any shred of trying to make an actual good movie. I think he was just pushing boundaries. Having said that, I didn't hate the movie. The performances I thought were entertaining. Dieter Laser was hilarious in this fucking role, even though he was such a fucking scumbag.
Oh, he's great.
He's yelling like
he wasn't real.
It was like it was a character of a character of a character. Like
right.
This is just he was insane, but I just found myself like laughing at how insane this character was. And I actually thought Lawrence Harvey I liked the way he portrayed this character, completely different from Human Centipede 2, and I like that. So they definitely went way, way overboard. Yeah. And I think that this is the only way they could have extended this series. There's no way they could have done, I don't know. I think they had to take this sort of view of it and to do it this way, because I don't think it would have worked if they just tried to do another sequel, like just a normal sequel. So I'll never watch this film again. That's for certain. But I'm glad that I fed the curiosity, and it's hard for me to recommend it. So for me, it's definitely a trick. I didn't hate it as much as I had expected, but there's not really too many redeeming qualities. There's not really even any good gore gags to speak of. I mean, there's a couple, but it's just gross.
The castration
scene, yeah.
As a practical gore gag, I thought that was pretty impressive.
How about eating the balls?
Yeah.
Well, when you've seen one ball eating, you've seen them all.
Is it Friday already?
Pretty sure I saw that in Cannibal Ferox.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was so not scary or so not threatening.
Well, it's not meant to be scary.
Politically, it was scary though.
No, but like the legend of this is the legend compared to the reality. This
yeah,
is
but
fucking,
you're not watching.
But you don't know the legend. You haven't seen the first two
other
films.
No, I do know the legend.
Right, but
I haven't seen the film.
But I don't think anybody has said that this holds up to the legend. So your stance is kind of redundant.
No, it's remarkably correct, because my expectations for this is like, oh, this is scary, fucking whatever. But it wasn't fucking bad. Like this was fucking nothing.
Hey, if you want to take anything scary from this film, just know that there are people in Europe that think we are exactly as the Americans portrayed in this movie are.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Goro, who won the war?
With who? With
Europe.
Holland?
Technically, they were neutral.
Can someone reel this guy in,
all right,
please?
that's it. We're done.
Red coat motherfucker.
We're done with Human Centipede. Oh wait, my tagline: never go ass to mouth. That's our tagline.
You sound like my mom.
Your mom tells you that?
That's funny because I can tell you she don't live by that.
Oh,
Snoop. That was a good WrestleMania.
All right, so we need to cut to a break. MZ, can you stick around for a bit longer? I want to get your thoughts on Ex Machina. Okay.
Plus, we have a present for him, right?
We do. We'll do that as soon as we get back.
Oh boy, gimme.
All right, so
we're gonna ass to mouth.
We're gonna take a quick break. Everyone's gonna go wash their hands. Use the bidet in the bathroom that we have.
Do you have a bidet?
No, I wish.
I move in.
And we'll be back to talk about Ex Machina in just a few moments.
This was so fucking...
One dark
You know what?
and
If I-
stormy night in the mid-'80s, Joe Bob Briggs, Harlan Ellison, and the ghost of El Santo pulled a train on Elvira while Siskel and Ebert sobbingly masturbated in the corner. From that union arose the greatest movie critic and luchador that ever lived. But we're not going to talk about him. He's kind of a dick. Instead, we're going to talk about me, El Goro, the stuttering movie fan and host of the Talk Without Rhythm podcast. Every week on Talk Without Rhythm, I discuss 2 to 3 movies tangentially tied together by a theme. I cover action.
I'm the most complete fighter in the world.
Sci-fi.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Horror.
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
And the continuing adventures of James Spader, sexual deviant.
You're not worried that I'm going to fuck you, are you? I'm not interested in that, not in the least. Now pull up your skirt.
So check me out at tworpodcast.blogspot.com, drunkenzombie.com, or subscribe on iTunes. Talk Without Rhythm, the only podcast that will not attract the world. Adios.
Hello, darlings. It's your favorite whiskey-drinking, litigious, singing, dancing fantasy girl. Want to reach out to me and the world's greatest monster-hunting multimedia organization, the Deadites? Log on to Facebook.com/The Deadites. It's got all the info you need to follow the world's greatest monster-hunting band, like live appearances, info on your favorite Deadite, music, and all the links you need to our new weekly multimedia and all our side endeavors. Too many letters on Facebook? That's okay, sugar. Just follow us on Instagram and Twitter @The Deadites. Hope to see you soon, and we'll leave the lights off.
All right, we are back on Trick or Treat Radio. I think, has everyone got the Human Centipede out of their systems?
It has been passed through my digestive tract.
You pass it on to us.
The inmate that is currently attached.
Thank you very much for passing it on. Is that, that's like It Follows, pass it on? Human Centipede 3, pass it on, a.k.a. bowel movement.
Did you have peas?
Peas. Noogie peas. Sorry.
That movie fucking sucked. I was so mad.
All right. Well, now we're going to get to a movie that may not infuriate Dynamo as much. I don't know. We'll find out. So now we're going to talk about Ex Machina. This film is rated R, 108 minutes. This drama sci-fi was written and directed by Alex Garland. You guys may know Alex Garland from some of his other writing credits. He did Dread. You guys remember that movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. He did Sunshine.
Hold on. I've been waiting, it was like 12 episodes ago, but I have a bone to pick with you, El Goro.
Uh-oh. Oh, bring it, brother.
Dread over the Raid?
Oh.
It is a personal preference, but yes, I will back Dread over the first Raid.
I sense an armpit punch coming.
You see, I
You can't
escaped
see
it on
me
Human
shaking my
Centipede
head.
3, but now we're gonna throw bones on this one, man. And that again is taking absolutely nothing away from the Raid, but there was something about Dread that spoke to me on a much more personal level. Maybe it was just the geeky or over the topness of it. And I love the Raid. In a perfect world, I wouldn't have to choose between them, but everybody always asks that question, so I have to come up with an answer.
You can't see me shaking my head.
I can't either. I'm looking. Oh, there you go. Okay.
You see, and thus the love
waiting for it to
affair
catch
between El Goro and Dynamo ends this night.
Yep.
True.
See what you did?
He also wrote 28 Days Later.
Oh, good.
which I know Dynamo loves. You actually, you don't like this guy's writing credits, do you?
I do not. Well, I didn't dislike.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you don't like Dredd?
The year that Dredd came out, it was my number 10 movie of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
2012.
That's not bad.
No, it was number 9. The Woman in Black was number 10.
Okay.
I think I had to make a longer list for the. Geez, I can't remember. I think they're from your part of the woods too. Andy Trickenbaugh's. Is that how you say his name? What was the name of his show? Yeah, what was his show?
It was Destroy the Brain.
Yeah, that show was awesome, and I might have done like a top 20 for that show, and maybe.
I keep telling that motherfucker he needs to start it again. I see him like twice a year, and every time I'm like, dude, when are you gonna start the podcast again?
Tell him that I said so too. But
right
yeah.
on.
So I feel like that might have been I might have done like a top 15 or something like that for that show, and maybe. But I think Dredd was my number 10. I could be wrong.
I think it definitely was on your top 10 near the end. So,
but The Raid was my number 1.
All right, that's fair, man.
Avengers
Everybody likes what they like.
My number 3.
All right, we need to move on to this review. We don't have much time for it, and I think we have a lot to talk about. So, this was the directorial debut of Alex Garland. So he's written a bunch of stuff, but this is
forgot about MonsterZero's gift.
You're right. See, I'm trying to move on. All right, let me do the gift. It's okay. Definitely we need to get the gift out there. So
I got this from 2 dignitaries of the show, specifically because they were worried about MonsterZero, and they wanted him to know that they were thinking of MonsterZero last week.
Oh, that's nice.
All right, well, here we go. Here's the gift.
He's a movie dragon and he wants you to know he's a really motherfucking big fan of the show. He's gonna watch movies and let you know. And he hates Raven Shadow as he thinks he's a hoe. He's sing sang, bing bang, he's sing sang soon.
Hi guys, this is St. Zeus here. We have a special guest.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
OMGs, the Mars is here.
He seems excited.
That's right. It's the most electrifying man in podcasting. The microphone swinging, poo-tang. I don't know what rhymes with swinging. But we're going to give you a list because we love him. Here's a list of MonsterZero's top 10 pornography feature films. That's right, the top 10 films that MonsterZero pulled out his smeckle and turned into Heckle and Jekyll. Alright, are you ready? Are you ready, Sing Sang Soon?
Yeah, I'm ready, motherfucker.
Number 10, Schoolboyed in the Asshole. Number 9, Bone Sickness.
Number 8, motherfuckers, Walmart night shift self-dairy. Number 7, fuckers, Molted Tail. Ew.
Number 6, My Dinner with Rufus and Ronaldo.
Number 5, fuckers, there are plenty of noodle over here.
Number 4, It Puts the Lotion in the...
Number 3, Dear God, yes. I think I said it.
Next one.
What's 4 or 5? 2. No. Number 2, motherfuckers, The New Adventure of Larry's Fine.
And number 1, Menage a Tard. That's the list of MonsterZero's best porn movies. If you smell what the Mars is cooking.
Yeah, we're cooking something really hard and it's kind of stupid, but you have the worst porn. I have bad porn list than you. Zero is 10 times better than your mom.
Scream, love, quick on scream. He sucks.
He's a super drunk dragon and he never behaves, and he's always bringing dragon chicks back to his cave. They won't stone thrown for his movie slaves. He's fing fang, sing sang, soon.
Oh,
wow!
It's nice to hear Sing Sang Soon and the Mars.
Oh,
haven't heard from him in a while. What do you think of your present, MZ?
Oh man, that was pretty amazing. Dear God, yes.
That might be my favorite. I don't know.
I like this plenty of noodle over here.
I just like the way he says it.
Dear God, yes.
That dude right now is
he's
in Vietnam getting hitched.
Oh,
was it arranged?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the culture.
It's 2015, but sure.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's not America.
not everywhere. It's not 2015.
I suspect that, arranged or not arranged, like she's coming to the United States of America, and she's probably pretty happy about that.
Oh, kind of like Wang from Big Trouble in China.
Yep.
I gotta imagine arranged marriages would just take all the bullshit out of dating. I mean,
True.
just go through. It's like, you know what? I know what I'm gonna end up with. Fuck it.
You have to deal with it.
Yeah, but what if you ended up arranged marriage to one of these two?
Well, we'll make it work.
One woman would be.
I'll
happy.
shave them down and make them nice and pretty.
Yeah, because she'd be. If you got Raven Shadow, you'd be like, I only have to hold out a couple of years before I get whatever the inheritance is.
All right. Before we jump into Ex Machina, we have the chat room. Patsy Rahal said his tagline for Human Centipede is "Teaching teamwork. There's no me in the Human Centipede."
No.
No, there is not.
There's not. Gene Siskel's balding head is hanging out, and he says Ex Machina is so good, but if you've seen Small Wonder and Mannequin, you get the picture.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus. And Gene Siskel's balding head also says, Sing Sang Soon. He's excited. So everyone's excited about the return of Sing Sang Soon. Yeah. And we are too, but we have to talk about Ex Machina because I want to make sure we get a good discussion about this, and MZ has to leave soon. I want to get his thoughts first. So this film stars, I don't even know how you say this dude's fucking name. I think it's Domhnall.
Donal. It's Donal.
Donal?
Donal. I know there's an M in there.
He's got
don't pronounce it.
The M
it's
and the
just
H
Donal.
are silent?
Yeah, it's an Irish thing.
Donal Arigato, Mr. Redheaded from Harry Potter.
Dude, it's Brendan Gleeson's son. Don't mock him, or Brendan Gleeson will show up and he will punch you in the armpit, and then straight through the other side, and wear you as a little puppet.
So we have Donal Gleeson, we have Oscar Isaac, and Alicia Vikander, and Donal Gleeson and Oscar Isaac are both in Star Wars: Force Awakens.
Yep.
What do you think of that?
Oscar Isaac's playing Apocalypse.
That's right. He is playing Apocalypse in the upcoming X-Men
Which guy's
film.
that?
And he was in one of the greatest cinematic masterpieces of all time.
Drive.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac, he played Nathan, the billionaire.
Weird guy.
Oh, okay, he's good.
The owner.
He's Apocalypse?
He's Apocalypse, yeah.
He's good.
All right, so we have here, let me read the synopsis. A young programmer is selected to participate in a breakthrough experiment in artificial intelligence by evaluating the human qualities of a breathtaking female AI. Now, that's a good fucking synopsis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't fucking spoil anything. It gives you just what you need to know. All right, Ex Machina. This film, MZ, you were really excited to see this film when it first hit theaters, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was looking forward to it.
So now that you've got a chance to see it, what do you think?
Man, this is a beautiful film. This is just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful film. Let's see. How do I sound? How do I make myself sound? Here?
Just keep saying beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Your El Goro sounds like Imus.
Say it slower.
Say it slower.
There it is. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
keep going. Oh, I'm getting close.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Stay on target. Almost there.
Bringing it back around to Star Wars.
Stay on target. No,
I came from behind.
At first, I was
It's bounced off her chin.
All right, let him talk.
At first, I was kind of the opening scene. I was kind of thrown off by the
Fresca
fact that he
number
would
5.
get this through through text messaging. I
Like
thought
work
that was,
contest, yeah.
Yeah. At first, I didn't know what the hell was going on. But
well, they work for
I think it was an instant message, right? Like
a tech guy who basically created a search engine like Google or Bing.
Okay, I must have
Blue Book, I think was the name of it.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed this flick. Probably on the opposite end of how much I disliked Human Centipede 3.
Yeah.
This was an absolutely beautiful film. The character, what's his name? Oscar Isaac. What was his name?
Nathan. Yep.
Jeez, man, I don't even know how to.
So let's.
I know. I'm kind of at a loss for words right now.
What we'll do is we'll get some discussion
Yeah.
going on when you need to. When you've said your piece and got enough in there what you want to say, then you can take off because I know you want to talk about this film, but you also need to leave soon. So, this film is. It definitely doesn't seem like a film made by a first-time director to me. This is a really well-shot film, and it's got I think a really great narrative. And this isn't the first time we've seen a film like this, so it's not breaking a ton of new ground. But the way it's executed, I think, is incredibly well done. And so, I mean, this is. I don't want to give too much away about this film because it's still in theaters and it hasn't hit VOD yet either. So I want to try to stay mostly spoiler free, and I don't think we even need a spoiler section for this week. But I just want to talk about, I guess, what you guys felt about this film. Raven Chow, did you get a chance to see this?
I did. I watched this after Human Centipede 3.
Okay. So what happens when you watch Human Centipede 3 and then you watch Ex Machina?
It was kind of a disappointing follow-up.
What? Really?
What?
Yeah, like
you were looking for more fucking anuses and fucked livers.
Like I don't know, like I kind of like the confused guy coming into the joint, and I like the fact that the guy who created the robot program was drinking a lot. I like that.
Jesus Christ. El Goro, please save us.
I jump in Goro. But you guys weren't bored as fuck?
No,
not at all.
Not at all.
Thoroughly
And
engaged.
It was interesting going into this movie because it was one that I was intending to see for quite some time, but
It
had
wasn't the fucking
avoided
vision.
any sort of trailers, any sort of information about it. All I had was the positive word of mouth that was going on, and I absolutely loved this movie. I think it was, as much as I enjoy great action movies, as much as I enjoy just incredibly gory films or anything that is very, very showy, I also have a great deal of affection for movies that just feature intelligent conversation. The movies that you can get lost in the dialogue. And at its heart, that's what this movie was. At its strongest, was the conversations between Donald Gleason's character and Alicia Vikander's character. Yes. And again, it is territory we've gone through before. I mean, throughout the film and thinking back on it, I was reminded of Spike Jonze's film Her, which also deals with the idea of a human being interacting with an AI and all of the effects that it would have. Now, it ends in a different note from Her, so we won't, but since we're not getting into spoiler territory, we can't really explore that territory. But it was very, very good. It was very, very good.
Dynamo, I know you and your special lady friend saw this together, right?
Yeah. How did you know that? That's weird.
You weren't there.
He has access to all of your search history.
Man, I thought that I had shut down the.
I created Bing.
I thought I had charged the system in reverse and shut everything down.
Nice.
This
the true secret is your special lady friend is an AI he's been building.
Excellent work, sir. This is the best reiteration of I'd say the Frankenstein mythos.
Yeah, that's a good call
that I've ever seen.
Very much so.
I've heard some people talk about this film using some very middling vocabulary, and even some people who liked it. I didn't think I was going to be able to see it for a while. I was lucky that I got to get out and see it. This film is even better than the people who I feel like really liked it said it was. I feel like this film is beautiful. I feel like this film, like everything about this film for a movie that has 3 characters in it, this movie is so engaging and the relationships are so engaging, and I feel like we've all been in a element, like there are things in this movie that even though they're presented in a genre form, are so universal, are so feeling, like the feeling of being used and the feeling of being manipulated and the feeling of just that like aggressive guy, you know, that like kind of fratty aggressive guy that like is very much a mental bully. You know, like he paves the road of your relationship with backhanded compliments and like really aggressive mood swings. I feel like we've all been there.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like all those things work so well. And then you have this incredible set. You have some like, one thing I love about filmmaking that doesn't happen a lot is every time Ava came on the screen, I was like, how did they fucking do that? And I think the logical side of me knows kind of exactly how they did that. But like, it looks so fucking good. It looks so
seamless.
Good. Yeah.
For sure,
It's absolutely seamless.
And it just was.
And for everybody out there that disparages CG effects, I want to show them this movie. It's like, no, all of this was done with CG. I can tell you exactly how they did it. So all of you talking about, you know, just how terrible CG is, it's like, no, you can accomplish the impossible with CG. You just have to do it right.
Yeah, but this movie isn't overwrought with CG. It's the CG
like
is there right where it needs to be. It's not
anything
it's
with
not
Ava
over
was
encompassing the entire film. It's only the CG is there only where it seriously needs to be.
Well, it's a they use the metaphor in the film. It's like the magician's sexy assistant, right?
Right.
Like you don't realize that you're looking at CG this whole film. You
and
don't
that's the thing.
realize that
CG, the special effects shouldn't call attention to itself.
I agree.
We accept it.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Like the set of this film is something that we don't talk about very often. It was so referential and evocative to other films that had similar themes to it. I would say specifically 2001.
Yes,
the hallway
that went right to my head too.
But I feel like here he is looking at porn again in the middle of our show. I feel like
Look what he's watching, for Christ's
this film did like some kind of references to Kubrick without the very overt ways that most films that reference Kubrick do. You know what I mean? This referenced ideas and enforced them with subtle visuals. I just don't like. In the same way, I don't have enough bad things to say about the Human Centipede. Like I really do not have enough good things to say about this film. I thought the effects were top notch. I thought the performances were great. I thought the way, if this film had, and it wouldn't have looked any better, mind you, it probably would have looked worse. But if this film had a few more bucks thrown at it and like was more of a major, like, you know, if they were going for like a multiplex movie here, there would have been a big explanation about Blue Book and who this guy was, but it was all given to you through exposition. And it was awesome. It was great. You like it somehow managed to be subtle and breathtaking at the same time. The very naturalistic lighting, like I could talk all day. Like, I like this is again, like I feel like this year, last year I had a hard time making a top 13. This year my top 5 is going to be like a fucking knife fight. Like we're gonna we're gonna separate the men from the boys because like 3 times this year I have had cinematic experiences that brought me back to when I first saw Drive or first saw The Raid, where I felt like
or Dread.
Finally, I felt like finally people are making genre movies for me where they are so well thought out and so well delivered and there's nothing confusing about it. And this film doesn't falter. Like this film doesn't add, like, I was so afraid that this film was going to have a scene in it where it was kind of like a really typical Hollywood tent scene where like he was fucking moving around and like in the part of the house he didn't belong to and was trying to get out of there before. But the way they handled that same bit of exposition, we'll say, was so tasteful and so great. This film didn't have like an action beat or a horror beat or anything else until it was time. And it was such a really well thought out, slow burn. This is just like, I don't know, this is a Picasso, in my opinion. This is a great movie. and a great character.
Well, you know what other movie buzzed through my brain when I was watching this was Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Okay, I can see that.
And,
Yeah,
because of that slow burn feel, it's very it's got very subtle tones, but it's also very what's the word I'm looking for? Very encased.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
It's worth saying that a lot. I call them the children of Kubrick, right? But it's worth saying that a lot of the children of Kubrick lean more towards their crazy stepdad, Jodorowsky, and Refn, and the guy who made Beyond the Black Rainbow. Like I feel like those. Yeah, like I feel like those are very. Very like deep and meaningful like film experiences, and they both do what I love about Jodo, and their weirdness is still like steeped in like exploitation genre cinema. But what I feel like this does here, which makes it like not visually, mind you, I don't think, maybe somebody will disagree with me, but the most like a Kubrick film is that there's a movie here in all this here you go, Johnny, subtext. And yeah. Monocle. There's a really strong narrative here.
Yeah.
That is more like what I really like this film. And in another year it would have been probably top 5. I hope it makes top 10 this year, but Spring, for instance, I feel like the character development in this film in the way we were engaged in a romance that, an outworldly romance, we'll say, worked like much better.
As it was mentioned earlier, the conversations between Caleb and Ava were dynamic, very dynamic. But I was glued to the screen when Caleb and Nathan were talking, because they're two of the same people, but they're on opposite ends personality-wise.
Sure.
And I love that dynamic, that war between thought, between those two. Even though they think the same way, they're on the opposite ends of the spectrums. And I just love that butting of heads between two seriously intelligent people. And when you combine that along with with what is undeniably a great story, along with incredible visuals. Now, I'm not a CG person at all. I like my effects to be old fashioned.
You're not a cootie girl?
Yeah. But like I said before, the effects in this movie are absolutely seamless.
Right.
I mean, they pull off shit in this movie that even your biggest budgeted $250 million films can't pull off.
What was interesting about this was this did that sexy assistant thing in a weird way, because it was almost the opposite. The sexy assistant in this was character interaction. Mm. So it wasn't like a bit of like visual prestidigitation. It was really great performances and really great writing, I guess, and like on spot like character beats that mattered, like, and that made you feel uncomfortable in a way that you might not generate that you're feeling uncomfortable. Like, even though it was like kind of a lovey-dovey moment, like having someone know that you're lying on a visceral level that you don't even realize you're lying is like a really unnerving thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You might walk around and think your favorite color is red, but like, I guess it's not. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, I could have watched 40 more minutes of that exploration of it.
It's funny. I had two things I wanted to bring up, and you pretty much like knocked them both down in the last couple minutes. But this is a fantastic character study. This is really, there's not much that happens. It's all between the characters and the acting and the script. And even though there's some great visual effects and some great, the set and the lighting, everything is amazing in this. That could have been like lesser quality and still have been as good of a film because of the writing and the interaction between these characters. And while this isn't classified as a horror film, I would almost put it in there just because of how uneasy I think this makes you feel. And like there's so much manipulation and you don't know where it's going to go or who's manipulating who. And I just gave me this really uneasy feeling that I was surprised by a film that had so little going on was able to do for me. And, and then obviously what happens at the end wasn't incredibly surprising, but I still was shocked by it because of the way the character development went, I guess,
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah. And, I mentioned her, and to me, I think these films represent the diametric opposites that you find in science fiction. The fact that ostensibly science fiction is talking about the future, and they can go one of two ways about it. They could be hopeful towards the future, or they could express our anxiety about the future. Her, whilst it was emotionally devastating in moments, it ultimately ended on a hopeful note, especially with the idea of the rise of AI and where that will go. Ex Machina was much more mired in an anxiety about what the introduction of artificial intelligence will mean for us as a species. I mean, Nathan says it overtly one time in the film that at one point AIs will look back at us like we look at ape bones in Africa.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think everything is leading towards that. The unsettling nature of so many of the scenes and just the way that everything is presented in the film, including the house, which is aesthetically beautiful, but is also a technological wonder, and is suggestive of a danger, just like Ava is. That she is beautiful, she is a technological wonder, but there is something about her that is somewhat unsettling.
Right.
And I think her casting as Ava is also quite brilliant.
Yeah, I agree.
You got someone who is undeniably very, very beautiful, but also can pull off a very plain Jane appearance when the need arises, and she can pull that off in this movie. I thought she was quite exceptional, and probably I would say puts on the best performance in the film.
Yeah,
that's close because I'm a big fan of Donald Gleason. So.
I'm going to go to the trifecta, and I feel like I will honestly say, and it won't happen because of the level of film this is, and when it came out in the year, I think.
Yeah.
But if Oscar Isaac doesn't get a Best Supporting Actor nod, at least in the conversation, I'll be really, really upset because this is a great performance.
And that's the thing, I really enjoyed his performance, but I couldn't get out of my own head with aspects of it because I came across a meme or an observation somebody made that consider the uber geniuses that permeate our pop culture right now. One of the most defining character attributes of guys that are incredible geniuses, like way above everybody in the rooms, guys like Tony Stark as portrayed by Robert Downey Jr., or Sherlock Holmes as portrayed by Robert Downey Jr., or any of those guys, like Dr. House, any of these guys that are just the smartest guys in the room.
Portrayed by Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I know, right? The thing that we seem to require all of our geniuses to do in our pop culture these days is to also be a colossal dick.
Right.
Have you noticed that?
Yes.
The only way we can accept a genius is if they have a debilitating character flaw, whether it being an asshole or just something else about them, because we're not comfortable with the idea of genius unless we can in some way humanize them and make them more down at our level.
But there's a truth to that.
Or if they're retarded.
There's a truth to that stereotype too, though, right?
Because, sure. I've met a lot of socially maladjusted geniuses, and a lot of their genius comes from the fact that they are so uncomfortable with human interaction.
I'll hit it on the head.
It puts them on the autism spectrum. That said, I've also met geniuses that are incredibly outgoing, but we don't see them.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you're a gamer, right?
Sure.
To
a certain extent.
Like how many of the I game with like a couple. I call them rule jocks.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have that jock mentality about like reading those books and the rules and knowing every little bit of the mythos in the same way. Excuse me, I'm burping. In the same way that, somebody has the thrive to get the touchdown.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and I feel like that was kind of where Sherlock Holmes, I think, was a palatable version of an opium addict and a cokehead, like, which, you know, we didn't get to see that, so they just made him crazy. And I don't know too much about House because I didn't watch it.
He's basically Sherlock Holmes.
Swap
out opium for, well, he was morphine, so basically the same thing.
So like I feel like
whatever.
I feel like that's kind of what he was like. He was like a just, I don't know, like.
Oh yeah, and if I haven't come across somebody pointing that out,
yeah,
and then thinking back, it's like, holy shit, that is occurring so much that where in the past in our pop culture we would have the idea of the well-meaning genius.
Right.
You know, you would see it even in movies like the science fiction films in the 1950s where you have these brilliant guys, but they were nice.
Or even the Jerry Lewis films, you know. Like,
yeah, sure. We don't really have that as much now. And it's not necessarily making it truer to life because there's a spectrum of it, but it's interesting to see these character archetypes pop up so much across different cycles of pop culture. And again, I take nothing away from Oscar Isaac's performance. I think he was brilliant in this movie. It was great as an antagonistic presence. I just got up my own ass about it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I feel like it'll never get unleashed in the world because like it's too nerdy. But I've done like so much research and so much setup. I've always wanted to cast my own Batman movie. In the way that Oscar Isaac is in this is the way that I would portray the Riddler. Because the Riddler like is always portrayed as like a kind of like, you know, poof, posh, like silly character based on like the Frank Gersh version of it from the 60s Batman. And even the later on ones, he's is shown by the pretty great portrayal by Snyder recently. He's still just a dork. You know what I mean? He's still just a nerd. But like what the Riddler is a bully with his brain. And I feel like that was like what was awesome about Oscar Isaac's character. Like he couldn't, like, he was constantly so insecure in a way, whether it was he was just manipulative to be that way or that's how he actually was, that he was the smartest person in the room. And even if you like were complimenting him and came off as the smartest person in the room, he had to be smarter still. It was constant one-upmanship. And I feel like that was really interesting because it's a very safe stereotype, right? True. So I feel like that's why it's like, you know, it's not like there are some stereotypes that are true and not true, but we can't explore them in, you know, the way that the media is and cinema is, and certainly, you know, not without, and they're probably better left unexplored. But at the end of the day, like, I know more smart people that are kind of not have all their own quirks in a way than I know normal people, or as many as I would say, as I know smart people who are normal, not saying I'm smart, but normal person like me, or a normal, you know, average person on the street. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. Perfect
example. It's a different kind of smart, but I would put the main music writer on par with any music writer that does what we do anyway. Like, and that dude is a fucking weirdo. Like, no ifs, ands, and buts about it. That's the dude that does the show from across the street pretty much on Skype. So, you know.
Or he used to.
Yeah, you know, when he did. You know, or the same as the singer guitar player for this other great band we hang out with. Or the singer of Colorblind. Like, those guys are all perfect examples of geniuses that like are the different end of that spectrum. They can't get out of their own way a little bit, so you kind of they'll be unheralded geniuses. But then you have these other guys who are like, I'm the smartest fucking guy in the room, and that's why you know about them. You know, like that's why they exist as both characters and in real life.
Yep. So then thinking about it, and I'll make this brief, but without going into spoilers, we also have to wonder if how much of the way he portrayed himself and presented himself was legitimate.
Agreed.
Think of the ending and think of what the purpose of the entire thing was.
There may not have been any, any booze in those booze bottles.
It's true.
It's entirely possible.
Yep.
There was also one.
That's what we do to Raven Shadow.
Though I have to say, because as I was going into this, I had a sense of what this movie was, that it was an intelligent sci-fi movie. And I love lowbrow sci-fi, but I also respond to intelligent sci-fi. And I've been primed with certain movies like Moon, which I also regard as one of the classics of the genre, to expect a twist. And what's curious about this movie is that it managed to anticipate the twist that I was expecting and address it before going a completely different direction.
Yeah.
I refer to the scene with the razor blade.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So, without going, again, too much into spoilers, they, in that scene, addressed the twist that I thought they were going with. And then, nope, we're going on with something else.
Sure.
It's like, okay, you have managed to get me interested. Let's see what you're doing with this.
I just want to. I'm not going to dig too deep, but were you expecting to see something underneath?
Yeah.
I was, yes.
Okay.
I almost thought we did, like the way they shot it.
Okay, that's
and it's the idea that if you're dealing with the nature of what is human, you have to start. You automatically prime to start suspecting everything.
Sure.
Okay,
So
I just wanted to make sure that's where you're going, because I
exactly
pondered that as well, and even though like you sort of thought when you got to the end part that maybe this is what's going to happen, and then when you got to the point where it was kind of obvious what was happening, and then it happened, it still was like, oh shit, it still was shocking the way they pulled it off.
They also managed to do two of my favorite kind of twists. I call them the Makmala Authority twist and the Alan Moore twist, where we'll say the end of Watchmen, the book end of Watchmen.
The book end, yeah.
And we've had an antagonistic relationship, but I kind of want to hire you, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like now I'm going to, now I'm going to throw you in my mad scientist pit. It's like, you played exactly to what I wanted you to do, mission accomplished.
I don't know. It's hard for me to say who I like the conversations between better, because I loved the conversation between Caleb and Ava, and also between Caleb and Nathan. Like, especially early on, he's like, oh, well, so how'd today go? And then and then he pull out all these quotes. He's like, you're very, well, I can't remember what he said, but I thought that was like just the interaction between those two was great.
He's like, you're very quotable.
Yeah, exactly.
And meanwhile, he's
stealing
he's
quotes,
quoting
yeah.
He's stealing quotes, but yet he's making shit up.
Right.
Saying not even saying the same shit that Caleb just said.
Yeah.
But the one last thing I want to talk about before we get to verdict is this. So this isn't really, I guess this isn't spoilery, but so the AI is based off of people's searches through Blue Book, through Nathan's search engine that he created, and that's basically how the AI was created, and that's both fucking awesome and scary as fuck.
Sure.
Yeah, it's incredibly terrifying.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. What they mentioned in the film, that's happening. Everything you type into a search engine, anything you type onto any website you yourself do not personally own, that is being cataloged.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't me being paranoid. No, they're pretty open about it. It is being cataloged, and it is building an electronic profile of you, which can be used for marketing purposes, as was referenced in the film. So as soon as they brought that out, it's like, that is incredibly clever. These people are paying attention to the world we're living in.
Yep.
Raven
Shadows, he's trembling right now.
I was thinking about that.
Well, because and they got around something that has always struck me about the development of AI. It would be virtually impossible for any one person to write a program as sophisticated,
right,
in order to bring consciousness. It would either take a team or an incredibly huge data set. Now you throw in all the search engines, and then, yes, they threw a little bit of, computer wizardry in there when they were describing it.
Yeah.
But the core concept of it is like, okay, that's a clever idea.
Right, and it's basically having, it's very, even though the film wasn't set up in this way, it's very supervillain in the fact that society did the work for him. Like they did all the legwork. You know, he just had to channel the information into the right places.
It's
which
actually
I thought were great.
It's funny. We gotta let MZ go in just a second, but it's funny because I saw this and Age of Ultron within like a week of each other, and I kind of wish they explored a little bit more of this with Ultron, because
That would've been nice.
They do hint at that he's plugged into the internet and he access anything.
Right.
But I kind of wish they had, you know, obviously in a superhero film with all these different characters, it's hard to really dive deep. But I guess that was, in a way, almost like a nice companion piece where seeing this made me think more about Ultron and ultimately what he could have done. And I wish they had explored maybe a little bit more about that. But that's just after seeing this, it made me think about that. So, but this, it incredibly smart the way they did that, and the way they talked about how the AI was programmed. So we need to. What we'll do is, I think we may still have a few more thoughts about this. So, but let's say goodbye to MZ, and then we can continue right before we hit the verdict. So,
See you, buddy.
Yeah.
Later, sir.
Hey, goodbye.
You
Jesus.
motherfucker.
You motherfucker.
Hey, I'm gonna be in fucking Massachusetts in November. I'm gonna remember this shit.
I'm gonna be in Massachusetts in November.
Early this year. What are you coming out so early for?
A buddy of mine's getting married. I'm
nice.
conducting the wedding, so I have to figure out what your marriage laws are.
Nice.
Do you take
With the town where Raven Shadow's from, like, is where the expression "kissing cousins" came from. So I don't know where he's from. Anything goes.
that's the town you grew up in, right?
Who that I grew up in?
Yeah.
All right, well, let me give my
right.
my early verdict before I judge.
Yes, please.
I grew up where we're standing, sir.
This is absolutely a treat of the highest order. Yes. And
Motherfucker.
I can't wait for you to punch him in the armpit.
Yeah. We'll hold them.
You know what's funny? And all jokes, aside, like he wasn't in studio to actually see El Goro. He doesn't know that he'll tear your
We're
arms off.
Facebook friends.
Yeah, well.
yes, we are.
You saw Avengers, right? Remember how Thor looked?
Oh, fuck off, man.
That's a fucking good thing.
No, but it's not an accurate comparison.
But you're bigger than Thor.
El Goro's more El Goro's more handsome.
That guy's fucking huge, man.
Yeah, El Goro's more handsome too.
Oh, Goro,
No,
stop
no,
talking.
come on.
I'm saying you're like fucking, you're like Chris Hemsworth.
All right. Hold
All
your
right.
wad. I got to get out of here.
All right.
Hold
All
your
right.
wad.
El Goro,
Good
good
thing.
talking with you, man.
Good talking to you too, brother.
Okay, arrivederci, douchebags.
All right, MZ. We'll talk to you next week, bud. 150 next week. All right, so let's
He's very busy.
let's wrap up this discussion because we still have some feedback to get to. So, anything else you guys want to bring up before we head to the verdict?
Just my two favorite parts, real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The indictment on the misfire that is like basically the internet and search engines.
Yeah.
Of what they thought it meant for society and what it really was showing of society, and the weird, almost Lynchian dance number.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
like where it was like
that
what?
fucking dance number.
Yeah, it was like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like that. I felt like that was a nice beat too because you need a tension release in this film.
And it, as a quick question, it didn't come as a surprise to anybody with where the Japanese assistant ended up, right? As to the nature of her character.
No, I thought that was I thought that might be the because this is the type of film you're looking for a twist, right? And I thought that
Exactly, as I said, with Moon.
I thought that was going to end up being the twist. Even though it was addressed in that way, like it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like it was just another plot point. I mean, it mattered, but it wasn't like the penultimate
sure
thing.
All right, so Raven Shadow, you didn't really talk much about this.
Yeah, no, I liked this movie the first time I saw it when it was called Bicentennial Man.
Jesus Christ, are you kidding me?
It was cute.
Wow.
Okay.
I hate you so much.
Let me catch up on the
Cherry
chat.
2000, remember that?
Jesus.
Melanie Griffith.
Of course,
Like-
I remember that.
Like Nathan says, it's all part of a spectrum. So
Yeah.
those movies were early examples of AI, and now we're landing on Ex Machina.
Yeah, hardware.
All right, let me.
Hardware is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Let me catch up on the chat room. We had Patsy Rahal said House's license says that he lives at 221 B Baker Street to complete the analogy.
Nice.
There it is.
So there it is. All right.
On the table.
Rocky says Riddler was best in Batman the Animated Series. That's the Riddler I prefer. And Patsy,
I like him.
Patsy says I like the Riddler in the newer games, the Arkham ones.
Sorry, guys. Frank Gorshin as a Riddler was actually the best Riddler ever.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
I like it because it was a big part of my youth. But the Batman I love would have stuck his head in the toilet and he never would have been a threat again. Like,
but like the gangster suit, like he was fucking straight up a boss.
he didn't Gorsh wear the spandex.
He had them both. He would rock the pinstripe suit, and then he would do the spandex. And check out Dark Knight, Dark City. That's fucking Riddler running amok.
Was it directed by Alex Proyas?
Nope. Nope. It was a comic. It was written.
And Mike Magola covers, I believe.
There you
Has
go.
anybody written the Riddler as essentially the Zodiac Killer? Because to me, I feel that would be a good way to approach his character.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. They came close to that, and I don't know if you're keeping up with Snyder's Batman right now, but it's really good.
Nah, I'm waiting for the big collection.
Yeah, but he tends to have a tendency to fuck it up in the last half.
Yep.
Okay.
And they went from that to, almost turning Gotham into the Savage Land, like in the tail end of the story. So it's just like, going back to things being what they are, taking things for what they are, but not what we're expecting them to. It was almost like too much.
Snyder by that much.
Snyder is a great baseball team with a shitty closer.
I agree 100%.
All right.
But apparently he started watching wrestling now.
Nice. Very nice man.
He's wondering why people don't like John Cena.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And then Max Landis responded to him and explained it all. Because it's Max Landis.
The last two comments in the chat room, just to catch up. Rocky says, anyways, I need to bail. You guys have a great night.
Love you, Rocky.
My brother has been trying to get me on Ex Machina for a month, so I'm going to watch it this weekend. Cheers, guys and gals. And then Patsy says, to respond to your coming to Massachusetts to be a minister, ordained, or is that what you are? Are you an ordained minister?
I am indeed.
He says, so Patsy says, anyone can be ordained a minister for one day, El Goro. In this state, anyway, we had my wife's sister ordained to do our wedding. So
Wait, his wife and his sister?
I figured that would be the case because Ohio is pretty lenient and y'all are in Massachusetts. I mean.
Exactly.
I just remembered that I don't know how that works, but I got ordained to be a minister once.
I just got to look up the local laws and figure it out. It shouldn't be too difficult.
Dynamo, does that make you the sinister minister?
I don't remember why I did it. That's the weird part. Like, the 90s was so fucking weird. It's when I was working with all these guys at the kids' place.
That was a weird time.
I don't know why I
Kids
did that.
place. So you shouldn't say that out loud.
Yeah, I shouldn't.
All right, let's.
It's worse than the punk band thing last week.
Michael Raven Shadow's back 40 with his children.
All right, let's do verdict.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right. So the verdict for Ex Machina, we will tell you whether it was a trick or a treat. I think I know your answer, Raven Shadow. Why don't you go, though?
Yeah, I like it better the first time when Tony Harris did the art for the comic book. Thank you, Goro. That was good. No, I watched this backwards. I should have watched this before Centipede, and after Centipede, I needed a little more juice.
So after you watched the shitty movie, you were unable to enjoy a really good movie?
A very, very good CGI. I just kind of thought it was a good...
Bless you. Jesus Christ.
All right, there we go.
I've been doing those all day.
That was exciting. No, it was very pretty...
Just get to the fucking point. Don't pander.
I'm not panda.
Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda. I'm not pandering to anybody. No, like I'm looking at her butt right now. It's pretty cool. No, I just, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Fucking verdict.
Tepid trick.
Tepid trick.
Tepid,
That's worse.
barely a trick. Yeah,
barely a trick. It's a trick. I couldn't give a fuck. Watch RoboCop.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
What happened? No, I don't want to.
I didn't. The last 10 minutes, I don't fucking know. But like, You know, the fucking guy and the Asian and the naked.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Like,
What's the movie?
She had the wigs going on.
Why did I?
And she kind of like looked like Juno. And I'm like, why she look like fucking Juno?
Oh.
Was she fucking pregnant?
Wolfie, can you kill me?
No, RoboCop, C-3PO.
Like, honest to God, if you love me, you will
Cyborg.
kill me.
Cherry
My
2000.
brain, my reputation is like damaged with every
You know,
word.
like what's
this
a good
says the
robot?
Deadites.
Hal.
Like, I have to try to sell a record next year.
Hal. Who else was a good? Johnny Five.
5 is alive.
Los Lobos kick your ass. Los Lobos kick your face. Los Lobos kick your balls into outer space.
All
Remember
right.
that shit?
That's it. You're done. You're fucking cut off.
Turn his mic off.
All right. El Goro, what was your verdict?
I absolutely loved this movie. As I said, I embrace so many different aspects of science fiction, whether it be the, high adventure space opera of Star Wars, or films that are interested in engaging with ideas. And Ex Machina resides solidly within that realm. It is talking about something that we know that will probably become a reality within our lifetimes. And that's scary to think of, but we need films like this to explore some of our anxieties about that. I do believe it makes an interesting counterpoint to, again, I keep bringing up Her, but to me, these films feel intellectually linked. So, yeah, incredible treat. You need to see this film.
It's fucking science friction, I'll tell you that.
All right, Dynamo.
Treat.
All right, for me, this is also a treat. I really, really fucking love this movie. And fucking Human Centipede, we had one treat. Who was it?
That's fucking weird. Who saw that coming?
Raven Shadow.
I totally saw this going
for
the
this
other way.
movie, we have one trick. Who is it? Raven Shadow.
Fucking breaking boundaries.
No, you're not.
I am.
You just don't know good film.
No, I'm fucking. You don't know what you're gonna get.
You're a racist, like homophobe. So you
I'm
like the
saying
racist homophobe movie.
No, there was
and
nothing
you're
about
a dummy, so you didn't like the smart movie.
No,
so you're
that
not
was-
breaking boundaries. You're just standing right where you are.
That was Fisher Price, my first gorgasm. It was fucking romper room. Like it wasn't. Human Centipede 3 wasn't
So
outrageous.
it was good.
So
you said treat.
You're
you know
meeting-
that's the bad one. Good
Because
one,
I
right?
reviewed it like a professional. Thank you, Goro.
Wolfie, please.
I checked.
I'm crying like
It wasn't
Hayabusa.
Raven Shadow reviewing it. I punched. I was click chink on the clock, and I'm like, you know what? Not as bad.
Oh.
Well, that's fucking
Hey,
professional.
man, it's a bold stance. Stick by it.
Yeah, I must stick my fucking buffalo stance. Right here. That's what I'm doing. How you standing, Goro?
All right, this was a treat for me. This
Nina Cherry 2000.
Right?
The script of this movie was incredibly well written,
Yeah.
and the performances were fucking fantastic. I love the interaction between the characters. This is a great movie. Go check this out. Don't listen to Raven Shadow when it comes to this movie.
I wish the case of Fresca that I drank over the course of this show was like Deadly Nightshade.
Deadly Nightshade. This film is let me get the date for you. It's gonna be hitting VOD on July 14th. So you got about a month, about 5 weeks. Also July 3rd, It Follows hits VOD.
Word of snurb.
It's still in the theater by me.
Yeah.
It's well, Ex Machina is anyway.
Yeah. So both of those will be out on VOD in July. But yeah, if you can't catch it in theater, you can wait until July, and then Ex Machina will be on video on demand. So,
Do you think there's a record for Fresca drinking over the course of a podcast? 'Cause I think I might have hit it.
Yes, I think you did. Jesus Christ,
she's got a great bump.
You're pounding them.
I love it. Black cherry Fresca, black cherry citrus Fresca is so good.
Whatever you do not watch the documentary Fed Up
Why?
because it'll make you swear off sugar.
I've seen it on Goro.
There's
Oh,
no sugar.
God,
There's no
man.
sugar in this.
In the Fresca?
No.
I'm pretty sure there is, brother.
Zero sugar.
All right.
Unless they're lying.
What are they putting in instead in order to give it that sweet taste?
Aspartame.
Not deadly nightshade like I want.
They'll probably say something like sucrose or.
Again, if you knew what and who I put in my body in the 90s, like sucrose would be the least of my troubles.
Trust me, man. I wish I could completely forget of all the shit that I put in my body. I want to be able to eat whatever I want, but then I keep thinking back to that goddamn fucking documentary.
That's why I won't watch that. And like I didn't want to watch Human Centipede. I just
It's a documentary. I just got a message on Facebook from our boy Tim from South Korea.
Oh, stupid.
And he says, Human Centipede 3, man, someone should have sewn laser to the ass end of that just to shut him up.
Dude.
I am honestly surprised that it did not end with him being centipeded.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, showing that Tom Six was fucking with our expectations.
Yep.
It ended with him naked with a bullhorn.
Wasn't Billy Boss so much fun?
No.
He was
We
great.
finished with
it
that
was
movie.
irritating.
Yeah, we're done with
Irritating.
that. I brought it up.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It was Tim brought it up.
He
So.
should be the new Professor X.
Jesus Christ.
That'd be outrageous.
My X-Men.
Professor Triple X.
Right? That'd be fucking. Let's make a new movie. Bryan Singer's got some problems. in
Get
the
Axl
news.
Braun.
Let's fucking do it right.
Jesus Christ.
That's
All
a
right,
fucking
so that's
movie.
going to conclude our creature double feature film review for this week. Go check out these films at your own caution if it's Human
You
Centipede
guys are
3.
fucking soft.
Dynamo's got like $1 of bottles of can returned right there. Jesus Christ.
It's like my fucking Saturday morning.
You did do that last week on the show.
Yeah, I can never drink again. So.
All right, so that's going to do it for our film review. Everyone, go check out Ex Machina because it's a really good film. Don't listen to Raven Shadow.
You guys are wrong. This is fucking unbelievable. This is like fucking Earth 2. I don't even know what's going on.
You fucking kidding me?
This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You guys are all in cahoots.
Yeah.
You guys talked to Goro before I came.
Can we get Earth 1 Raven Shadow back, please? Then?
I'm fucking trying, man. I don't even fucking know. You guys are fucking in cahoots.
Cahoots.
Earth 1 Raven Shadow sounded bad, but was less annoying.
All right. Well, I kind of wish we had waited while MZ was here because we got another message from prisoner from camp SR21.
Oh, my Lord.
Do you guys want to hear that first, or you want to hear from our boy Josh Gravel?
Where was he in the caboose in the Human Centipede?
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
Hopefully Bobby Chains isn't mad at me because I said I wasn't going to watch Human Centipede, so he shouldn't be upset that he's not on the show.
I'm going to call Chains tonight.
But
I'm going to bring him down?
No, I think
Is he mad at us?
I would have liked to hear what he had to say, but I would have liked to have not watched it. I really let myself down. I'm very disappointed in myself that I watched that movie.
All right, well, let's get to voicemails. Let's hear from Josh. We'll hear from Josh first. He was without a computer for a little while, but I think he's got that all squared away. So now Josh is back. He's going to be reviewing some films. So I don't know. He may be catching up on some old ones. Let's see what our boy Josh has to say from the Arkham Film Society. Josh.
Hello, Trick or Treat Radio, guys.
Hey, Josh.
Josh from the Arkham Film Society here again. Looks like we're still at the 90-second recording limit, so this is probably going to be the first of a few messages. First off, I only got to watch one of this week's films, and it is Ex Machina. There was no, moral or personal objection to watching Human Centipede 3 like Mars has, apparently. It's just I didn't have time to get to it, and I actually really wanted to see Ex Machina. So, I'll kick it off by saying that this is a really interesting film. It's a great job by a first-time director, although obviously he's been around the screenwriting world for quite a while. All the actors are good. I thought it got a little bit predictable at times. But overall, it had some good twists and turns. And it had a great mood, a really great score. And I'd say this is a definite recommend and a definite treat. It's still in theaters around here, so I'm probably going to try to catch it when it hits the second-run cheap theater. Okay, be back in a minute.
All right, message number 2 from Josh.
All right, part 2. So, I'm going to give you some thoughts on some of the films that I missed, at least the last 2 weeks' worth for you. I know Jesse was especially interested to see what I thought of Horsehead. Well, Horsehead looks great, and unfortunately it kind of ends there. A lot of these films right now trying to recapture the Euro horror vibe are only able to capture the imagery but not whatever the actual vibe was that made them so exciting. I think the original films of the 60s through 80s from Italy, France, Spain, they all had this kind of earnest passion about them that really made them...
Know what I mean?
Endearing in a weird way. But Horsehead does look amazing, and it does have a really interesting cast. So, I mean, obviously, Catriona MacColl was in a bunch of the Fulci films, but, I mean, a couple other interesting faces do pop up. Most notably, to me, I mean, Philip Nahon is the priest. He was in the Gaspar Noé films, and he was the man in the truck in High Tension. So, I mean, he jumped right out at me.
Part 3.
Part 3. Continuing with Horsehead. Yeah, so Philip Nahon jumped right out at me. The other really interesting person in here is Vernon Dubchev, who played George. He was kind of the groundskeeper. He's been in tons of movies. He's popped up in a lot of weird Italian films by like Rossellini and Pasolini. He was in one of the Alan Robe-Grillet films. But also, horror fans will recognize him as the exorcist from Lucio Fulci's Sweet House of Horrors. I believe it was a 1989 film. But other than the cast and the look, Horsehead has a little going for it. I understand it's a first-time feature for Romain Bassett, but I'm hoping he can do better next time. Another thing that really put me off was the score. It seemed to be trying to capture like a more gothic ambiance, but with a modern dancey music score, and that it just completely didn't work for me. It just pulled me out of the film constantly. But next up, I will talk a little bit about Maggie.
All right, and the final message from Josh.
All right, part 4. And I forgot to squeeze into the other one that Horsehead is not a recommend unless you're a diehard into like really weird imagery. And unfortunately, it's a trick. But Maggie is a treat all the way, and a high recommend. You just gotta let people know going in that it is a drama that happens to have zombies in it. But another first-time feature filmmaker. I think I'm kind of a little overdone on the desaturated color thing, but discounting the color, this film really had some of the most amazing images I've seen in quite some time with the compositions. The acting is all amazing, the score really worked, and I'm going to say right now, when you see the two zombies that kind of wander out of the woods, that little girl zombie is one of the creepiest things I've seen in a hell of a long time. And I'm pretty certain in years to come will be remembered. So Maggie's a definite recommend and a treat. Horsehead is a trick and not so much a recommend. And Ex Machina, also a recommend and a treat. So hey, you guys have a good one, and I'll be in touch soon. I should be back.
Oh, you get cut off. All right.
He should be Bach. Shit.
J.S. Bach right there. Awesome. Thank you, Josh. It's great to have you back because you add something on the show that we don't have. Knowledge. Smats. So thank you very much for your thoughts on those films, and look forward to hearing your thoughts on future films, and we'll definitely have to get you on the show again soon. Dynamo, I just listened to the last episode you were on with Bill on OTC, and I heard you make mention of now I'm going to fucking forget the movie, The Final Terror. That's it.
Yeah.
Which Josh had a hand in getting that to Blu-ray, which is pretty fucking awesome. So very cool. Thank you, Josh. Let's now move on to Prisoner from Camp SR21, who called in last week and left us a pretty amazing message. Let's see what Prisoner has to say.
Good evening. I am out of my cell. I am a free man.
Oh.
I'm hitting the road. Unfortunately, there's traffic. So many detours. Which detour should I take? Oh, I know. This one. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Those days are over. You don't have to sell your body to the night. Roxanne, you don't have to wear that dress tonight. Walk the streets for money. You don't care if it's wrong or if it's right. Roxanne, you don't have to put on a red light. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Trick or treat ready, help me out here. Roxanne, put on the red light.
Roxanne,
put on the red light.
Roxanne,
put on the red light.
Roxanne,
put on the red light.
Roxanne,
put on the red light.
Roxanne.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I love you, prisoner from Camp SR-21.
Can we appreciate we all just impromptu did a bust out of Roxanne?
Can't fake that, Goro.
Oh, God. I don't know if you heard this, El Goro, but I'm going to play it again.
Steak!
Yep.
These fucking wings.
I heard the episode.
I
was cracking up at work listening to that.
I love the vocal stylings of prisoner from Camp SR-21.
Can he open up in October?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm saying, we can fucking jerk a curtain.
Oh, man. Gene Siskel's balding head in the chat room says, Mars is off his dome right now. Wow. What was in that fresco?
My Lord.
Yeah, what was in it?
I don't know.
Aspartame.
Aspartame, yeah. It's called cancer.
Oh, that's just the worst.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm the cancer threat.
Yeah, well, listen.
We need the Trick or Treat Radio death pool.
Yeah,
I can't speak to aspartame. I'm allergic to it. So.
Oh, well, you're lucky because that shit's the worst.
Then good thing you're not in the Human Centipede because those guys get full of aspartame.
Patsy asks, is this Sing Sang soon? And no, Patsy, it's not. It's prisoner from Camp SR-21.
We don't know who that is.
No. It's a mystery. So
we know who Sing Sang Soon is, and we still don't understand him.
It's true. All right, so I neglected to announce last week. So we picked our winner for the T-shirt contest last week. Was Tom C. So all his bitching and moaning paid off, I guess.
He's still gonna fucking bitch and moan.
But I neglected to mention who will be providing the shirts. I think I had mentioned our boy Josh is providing the shirt, but he has a store on Big Cartel. So I'm gonna say it a couple times because I want to make sure you get this right. So it's 2021. Oh man, I forget my Roman numerals. I feel like an idiot. So it's XXIV Apparel co.bigcartel.com. So XXIV Apparel co.bigcartel.com.
It's good that's clear.
So I think it's 21.
24.
24, thank you. I was going to say 21 Vaparel, but but it's 24 in Roman numerals, apparel co.
You're welcome.
.bigcartel.com. So go check that out. Josh is a cool dude. He's got some cool t-shirts. He's got some buttons, some pins, some shirts up. So go check that out. I neglected to mention that last week. Also, we got a email from a first time emailer, long-time listener, first-time emailer. I don't know. But anyways, Charlie O, and the subject is retrospectives. Hey, Trick or Treat Radio and the Deadites. I just recently caught up on your show thanks to Film for Thought a few months ago. And I got to say, I love you guys. You're funny as hell. On the latest episode, 148, Dynamo talked about doing retrospectives. Please do that. The chemistry behind you five is fantastic. Where the fuck is Tiny?
Oh, shoot.
That's what Charlie said. And I would love to hear you guys going through the horror franchise classics. I would gladly throw down some cash for this.
Well, good. I'm glad. That's a good segue.
That's an instant feedback. That's actually Charlie, I'm glad that you brought that up. We had actually been, obviously we talked about it last week, and it's something that we've been throwing around, but I do want to know if people would be interested in hearing that sort of thing.
Jaws retrospective, book it.
We'll get Tom Normandy on for Jaws 2.
Nope. I don't want to feed the habit.
So there you go. So awesome. Thank you, Charlie O, for writing in, and feel free to write in again. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you for the kind words, because it's just still amazing to me that people actually listen to us and think that we're funny. Raven Shadow might be funny looking, but
hey! And if you know where Tiny is, let us know. We're trying to, maybe you know.
I don't know where he is. So, all right, cool. We got some tweets. Let's do that. The what do we call this, Raven Shadow?
The trick or tweet.
That's right.
Segment.
So, let's see. We have Wooberman. I don't know who Wooberman is, but Wooberman, thank you for tweeting at us.
Nice.
Wooberman says, MonsterZero 321 contact made me spit coffee all over myself on the bus. That was the take these broken wings.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious. So
bad times.
Wooberman, thank you for letting us know, and feel free to tweet us again, because hopefully we'll make you spit coffee on someone else next time, not on yourself.
Maybe not coffee next time.
Maybe be rum.
Yeah, maybe. Speaking of rum, Haunting TV says, Don Mamaros, don't be ashamed of your inebriated end of show moments. They were very fun, and now I want to bring you some more rum.
Don't do it.
That's from Haunting TV.
More rum.
Unless that's the pretty version of Haunting TV, and then she can bring me more rum.
Alexander's got nice hair.
Yeah.
He does. After that much rum.
Yeah. You don't mind the beard?
No.
Except for the mustache.
And also, I don't know if you guys saw, but I entered us into Draft House Films as having their Roar Pets contest. So basically, you take your pet and you put them in the Roar poster. So I did that with our mascot Ozzy Osbear, and tweeted that, and they replied. They favorited us. They retweeted it out. So apparently they liked it. So hopefully we win. I don't know what we win. I think we win like a poster or something. But
nice.
Anyways, the Horror Club, our boy over at the Horror Club, said, "Did you Photoshop that? I love it." And then said we're also showing off because of our Photoshop skills, which aren't that great actually. I threw that together pretty quickly. So, but thank you. We appreciate that, Horror Club. You guys are fucking awesome. I love the Horror Club site. If you guys have not been to the horrorclub.blogspot.com, you need to go check it out. That's where we get all of our information for the movies that are coming out on VOD. Without the Horror Club, we'd be completely lost. We'd be reviewing 20-year-old flicks probably.
And I also, while we're at it, adore Haunted TV too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Say that enough.
For sure. And so Patsy Ray Hall also tweeted during the show and said, bonus content from the Deadites? ? And then linked this video.
I'd buy that for $1.
All right. We got our answer. Patsy Ray Hall wants some bonus content, and he would be willing to pay $1 for it.
All right, good.
So that's the trick or tweet moment.
And we got one more shout out here. There's not as easy to monitor on Facebook when this happens. But our friend Robert Ronsky...
the
also,
author.
The author of the Horror Universe Crossover Encyclopedia, which I have, I won't say wasted because I've enjoyed it, but I've lost many hours going through it. Like I don't know, it's my type of nerd. He mentioned that he was going to be on the show soon. I told him that I had a couple bookings that I was trying to that were time sensitive. One of them was Mr. Campy. And the other one is one that I haven't tied up yet, but it would be ginormous.
You're gonna tie them up to the radiator?
Yes. But I told him that as soon as I get the calendar firmed up and talk to you, we'll book him. And he said he's very excited to be on soon. So
awesome. That should be a really fun conversation.
For sure. Yeah, if he's anything like his uncle, he'll just be mean to me and sarcastic the whole time. But.
Speaking of Roar Pets, I have a feeling that El Goro's dog needs to probably go for a walk soon. El Goro, right?
Yeah, it's getting close. I had to put her in her crate because she was being very particular
Gotcha.
this evening.
Well, we're gonna wrap up here. So, Raven Shadow, any final thoughts? Do you want to redeem yourself here before we end the episode?
No, I think the fucking history and the fans will speak for itself.
The history?
Yeah, history.
You don't even know what history is.
Yeah. Break it down. His story.
All right. Before we do the final farewells, I just want to say I mentioned it on the Fib today, and there was actually a pretty big response. But I just finished watching the last couple episodes of The Flash season 1. And
Oh yeah, man!
Fucking awesome.
Right?
I think that's the best superhero show out there for my money.
Whoa.
Oh, easily.
Slow it down, Johnny.
Why? What's better?
Daredevil.
Okay, well, I've only seen the first.
Yeah, Daredevil.
I've only seen
Goro. Yeah.
I've only seen the first 3 episodes of
I know
Daredevil.
Daredevil's blind, but that dude needs to fucking click a light on.
He's blind.
All right,
Yeah, but how's the other guy see in the fight?
I'll reevaluate.
That's why they lose.
I'll reevaluate that when I finish Daredevil. But I just think they did such a fucking amazing job of the weaving stories in. I just had a really good payoff for the end for the finale of Flash, and some of the fucking Easter eggs were amazing. Where are you at?
I like that. I enjoy that you enjoy it.
Okay.
I find Barry a big dull dud.
You gotta watch it. You gotta
I
keep
wish
going.
he would stop having Wally's girlfriends. Get your own bitches, Barry.
Linda.
Yeah, Linda Park. I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I saw the
What?
Firestorm. But I don't know. Give me Wally. Give me a ginger Wally any day of the week.
Do you know? I've never read much Vibe, but do you know?
Did you mean Vibe?
Yes.
You meant to say Vibe.
Yes. I meant to say Vibe.
You never read much Vibe.
No.
No one did. That's why it was canceled. That's why I didn't have to watch the fucking Serbian film.
Anyways, Cisco. I didn't
word?
know. I didn't know. Cisco in the show is going to be Vibe.
Oh, no Snoop, really?
Yeah. What's Vibe's name?
No, Paco. It's Paco.
Oh, okay. So
Paco Ramon.
they changed his name. Cisco Ramon is his name.
Cisco Ramon.
Yeah.
I think it's his brother Reverb.
He has a brother.
He has a brother Reverb in the fucking conglomerate. Bing that shit. Who fucking knows about the conglomerate? It's when Booster Gold quit the JLI Bwahaha era, formed his own group, and it was fucking, yeah.
But did you see the Easter eggs from the finale? If you haven't, I'm not going to say anything.
I saw the newspaper.
Though there was one in there that's not necessarily
not-
an Easter egg, since it was right in front.
That's true. Something that comes through the wormhole.
Yeah, buddy.
A helmet that comes through the wormhole.
Is it silver?
Yes.
Yes.
Does it got wings on it?
Yes.
There you go.
I popped hard when that happened. I was like, oh shit.
Me too.
I love me some speedsters. I love. For me, it's Wally, it's Jay, it's Johnny Quick, it's fucking Makari from the Eternals, Quicksilver, who was the guy with Impulse? Max Mercury.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was going to hurt, but it didn't. Get my virginity back.
I just find Barry dull, man, and I'm really glad.
You know what? All
your
the superhero-
enthusiasm, I love it.
All this fucking superhero talk is great, but Kevin fucking Steen
Kevin Owens.
Yes.
pinned John Cena
Yeah.
cleanly.
Clean as a fucking whistle.
I
man.
was shocked. Shocked.
Because that brings the bitches out.
It's Kevin Steen, sir. Bitches love him. And pandas.
Bitches and dynamos.
Yeah.
Mr. Wrestling himself.
Kevin Steen is like the wrestler that I would have been if I was talented. Fat, ugly, and mean.
Is he the guy that died you were talking about for an hour and a half earlier?
No, that was Tommy Rogers of the Fantastic.
Hey man, like I posted on when Elimination Chamber was happening, I'm on team fat and bearded.
Yes.
Ooh.
Although I think you got more muscles than Owens does, Goro.
No man,
Goro's a big
fact
boy.
He can lift some shit, man.
I was like, when'd you get out, Goro?
When'd you get?
Because you're a big dude.
And God bless John Cena for
Oh yeah,
like,
for putting him over. He
probably didn't have to.
No, and
well, I mean, if you look at him at his career right now, he seems to be in kind of a charitable place.
Yeah, he's been in the mid card for I don't know, like a good 8 months. I
hope
now.
this is I doubt it with the short-sighted booking that they do, but I hope that this is a story transitional period.
Personally, what I think they could do with Cena is this kicks off a massive losing thing for him. Not, post WrestleMania 29 where it was a quote unquote losing streak, but this one was going to be, a big one, and then finally building him up again so he can get the title one more time to tie up Flair.
Ooh. Yeah, it'll probably happen.
Yeah.
So that,
it's John fucking Cena. He's going to be back on top again.
Yeah.
I miss like.
You can't see the future.
I miss I miss Eddie now more than ever because him in the mix with a lot of these guys, even on like a part-time schedule like Jericho is, would have been fucking gold.
Yeah.
Sure. Incredibly. You imagine him going up against like a guy like Neville.
Oh yeah.
Because everybody talks about Neville's high flying, but he's remarkably solid on his mat work.
Yep. And looks great. I was even saying like. No disrespect to Bo Dallas, but like as a developmental guy, like came in early in his career in developmental, I think, like the crispness that Neville has, like just made Dallas look bad a few times.
Yeah. Plus that deadlift German he does is just such a pretty thing.
Outrageous.
I've seen him do that on Steen, and it's like, what the fuck? The strength it requires to do something like that at the speed that he does it is insane.
You got to get into PWG to see those guys like at just another gear. Like it's.
I've been meaning to check out some PWG mostly because a lot of people I've talked to say that Lucha Underground is pretty much, or PWG is basically just Lucha Underground, or reverse that. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm with
the
you.
style they wrestle in Lucha Underground is very much like the house style of PWG.
Yeah, just believe it or not, PWG is a little more no sell, I guess, but still good.
We just lost all Goro.
Really? We'll see you later, Goro.
My laptop died. We'll try to get him back here in a sec, but because I do want him to say goodbye. I don't want to just hang up on him. So
have a good night, Trick or Treat Radio.
Oh, you sound just like him.
I gotta get the laptop back on. Anything else, Raven Shadow, before we?
Nah, I think we're done.
Yeah, I think so too. We need to kill time. That's what I'm trying to do here.
You know what's weird? Fucking. Did you see that fucking FIFA stuff in the news? That was weird.
Oh my god, really?
How that happened? A lot better than fucking deflated balls. You got fucking corruption like a motherfucker with the fucking soccer hooligans. No, but really, I do enjoy that you enjoy Flash, Johnny. I feel I should watch it. I know there's a lot of. I saw the Supergirl trailer. I don't really care for Supergirl, so I feel there are shows that's awesome and it's
I
great
don't care
time.
about anything with the S, really.
Oh, that's blasphemy! But
Yeah.
no, I think it's a
Fair.
great time to be a nerd. But it's hard. Like and I don't mean to go back to it, but I fucking love me some fucking Daredevil, man. Have you finished it, Dynamo?
Nope.
You will love it.
Yeah, I just got pissed off at how dark it was.
I mean, do you work on your contrast? But no, I mean,
it's funny how that works. Like the Marvel TV show, well, I guess Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't, but like Daredevil's dark, whereas like the DC TV shows are more lighthearted.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't mind the tone. I like the tone
tone's fine.
dark. I mean, like literally, like if I went and turned off the light right now and what the webcam would pick up would be what the most of the fight scenes happen in, and they're real good fight scenes, and I get why they do it, but.
But this stuff with D'Onofrio, like the last, I kind of plateaued for a while, and then I binge like 8, 9, and 10, and then 11, 12, and 13, and it was just, oh shit. Aside from, and I really want to talk about a spoiler. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but foreshadowing that when you guys get caught up, I'd like to get into it, and it involves, Danny Rand moving forward.
Nice.
But watch it again.
Hey, I know nobody's. I'm sorry. I'm Russian, so.
You're Russian?
Yeah. I'm.
Drago.
Yeah.
By the way, Goro said he had to run
Yeah.
anyways because he's got to take the dog out and he's got to be at work in 5 hours. So
I know nobody's listening, but I know a lot of people don't pay attention. But if you are in that small minority that is reading it, I took a week off from the blog to figure out how to get more people to look at it. So this is a great time to catch up on Transmissions from Mars and find out all about our adventures. So
I read a couple.
Do you know the?
It's dynamo.blogspot. Dynamomars.blogspot.
Okay, so it's Dynamo Mars with an S, not a Z. DynamoMars.blogspot.com. Got it right here. So go check it out. Go read the blog. Go find out about monster hunting, the Deadites, and Trick or Treat Radio.
Blog.
And also the other plug I wanted to give, since El Goro he just had to run. I was going to try and get him back on, so it's my fault. The laptop died and we lost the connection. But El Goro is always a fucking pleasure to have him on. I love that dude. I love his take on film. He definitely makes us sound smarter. So if you like what you heard from El Goro, go listen to Talk Without Rhythm. It's a great podcast. A lot of times he runs solo, but he'll also have some guests on. And
that's such an art form in itself.
Yeah, seriously, I don't know how he does it. I couldn't, like, when we were doing the Faith No More review and you guys were all like outside the studio, I was just trying to like kill time until you guys get in. It was fucking weird. So.
I had a hard time doing like in between 5 and like 3 and 8 minutes for the countdown to Halloween, so.
Yeah. So Talk Without Rhythm, go check it out. TWORpodcast.blogspot.com, or you can just do a Google or Bing search for Talk Without Rhythm. I'm sure it'll come right up. It's on iTunes as well. Is he on Stitcher, Dynamo?
Oh, yeah. That's why I listen to it.
Cool. So go check out Stitcher, iTunes, or on his site, TWORpodcast.blogspot.com. Go check out El Goro. The guy is the fucking best. He knows his films, and he's smooth on the ears, isn't he, Raven Shadow? Yeah, so go check.
Only the Gents and the Macho Bullshit Movie Cast are the two podcasts I listen to that aren't on Stitcher.
So this is real quick before we go here. I tried to pick 4 of our collective favorite films.
Those are good choices.
I picked Evil Dead 2, Buckaroo Banzai, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Jaws.
Good choices.
Pretty good.
Raven Shadow, what would you put on there? Goodfellas?
Goodfellas 1 through 4.
Fucking Godfather 2.
Real people doing real things.
No, it'd be like Goodfellas, Serpico.
Yeah, I'm not putting him on there. Sorry.
Donnie Brasco.
Yep, not putting him on there.
Fucking
Wreck-It Ralph.
The Incredibles.
All right, sorry, not putting it on there. All right, I think we got to everything tonight. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Dynamo, why don't you go ahead and take us out?
Remember, children, wherever you go, there you all are.
Everyone, thank you for joining us for episode 149 of Trick or Treat Radio. Please, please, please send your feedback in next week, episode 150. It's going to be a huge, huge milestone episode. We're going to be joined by Steven Scarlatta. We're reviewing Kung Fury and a surprise film. Everyone, join us next week. See ya.